Hello?
Hey,
Hey.
how's it going, guys?
What up?
What up? What up? Okay, I don't know if you guys saw that that white supremacist that was just on stream.
Yeah, I think I caught a little. That was a little hardcore. This is a little hardcore even for me.
I'm glad you didn't show up in a white hood, Nick. That would have optics, you know?
I was gonna do the MAGA hat, but it wouldn't go as hard as the white hood. So
Nick, your followers are going to Myron now. You got competition.
that's true. Both of you guys are. It's like I'm being outdone. I thought I went pretty hard in November,
We
and
got
it's like,
Myron leading the dissident right now.
yeah, it's a couple of the Albanian and a black guy gonna outrace.
It just goes to show how things have changed. Because I remember when Dave Chappelle did the Clayton Bigsby shit back in the day, it was fucking hilarious. But nowadays you do that shit, they're like, oh my god. Just goes to show how pussified we've become.
Facts.
Well, it's good to see you guys again. Pearl, sure it's been. Have you spoken to Myron, and how long has it been?
It's been a while.
But Myron believes in like the enemy of my enemy is my friend or something like that. So I was surprised to see your super chats in there, and also you've platformed Nick Fuentes before. So I personally think that you have a good platform and you talk about positive things.
Thank you.
Nick, what were your thoughts about Abba and Preach when you got to speak to him?
Well, it was a long time ago. It was about a year ago that I talked to. I don't think I talked to Preach. I think it was just Abba, and he just seemed like, I don't know. You guys don't like him, right? So I could be honest.
Yeah.
No, we love him. What are you talking about?
No, not fans. He's lied. He said
Well,
I got banned for misogyny when I was banned for a lot of it was you, but
yeah. Well, he just seemed like he was, he's just like a fucking poser. Like, because I'm in there and I'm actually having a real conversation, and there were some other guys in there and they didn't agree with everything I was saying, but they were engaging in good faith. And the entire conversation, he's just like making faces like I would say something. He would go, and it's like, wipe that fucking face off, you know? Like, can't you just be like a real human being? So
Well,
I didn't care for him.
You're one of the funniest guys on the internet, right? He said something that Abba said that about you, right, Nick?
Yeah, he said some nice things, but then he went and said, I'll never talk to him again. I'll never be on a panel with him again. And I don't like that energy. It's I feel like these days it's not even a right wing or a left wing thing. It's like, you ever hear Pop Smoke? He was on this video for Rap Genius recently, and he said something like, I'm a slut, I'm down for whatever. And it's not even about sex. It's just like, you're down to fuck. And that's how I am.
That's like 4 years old. First off, that's not new.
It wasn't okay. Well, whatever.
Pop Smoke is dead too. He died.
Bro,
I know Pop
give him
Smoke
some
is
credit
dead,
for knowing
but
who he is. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
saw it recently. I saw it recently.
This is an old
Nick, I don't
Nick,
but
I
he's
don't
not-
listen to
Nick,
I don't
can you get
listen to
30?
degenerate rap
Nick, can you
music,
get 30?
What? I can't get sturdy. I can't dance. So
No, dancing's for
that's why I'm
homosexuals.
jealous of SNEAKO. SNEAKO
Nick, dancing is for homosexuals. Like, no man can boogie.
Oh, come on. I'm pro dance.
What, you
I know
do
Preach could dance pretty well.
That's
I
all.
Preach
don't
could
Albanians
pretty well.
dance?
Seen him go with that Lady Gaga shit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like
He's
was
also good with barrels.
on the first panel he was like making faces stuff like that. He didn't say anything to you at all. And then I added you. The reason that he started making all these hippies videos about me is I added you to a panel, and then he ran away. Like, he left the call before you joined. I don't know if you remember that. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, he started texting me because like we were kind of friendly. And he's like, oh, it's just like bad for association. Like, I look crazy. Like, if I'm associated next to a white supremacist, it makes me look crazy. And then I realized, like, this guy is talking about integrity all the time, but clearly doesn't care at all about truth or about integrity. If he is more concerned with optics and just being on a panel with somebody that he can't debate. Like, and this is why it doesn't surprise me at all that he's like trying to attack and say, playing the race card, because he's trying to get that liberal audience that believes in the racism psyop.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like there are people, even if people don't agree with me, there are people that are down to just go there and have the conversation and talk. And then you have these people, they're worried about like, oh, I'm going to get demonetized. I'll get banned. I can't be seen with you. I feel like we're at this point now where the country's so gay, the political correctness, wokeism, whatever you want to call it, it's so bad.
Okay.
I just can't be constrained by that. I refuse to be shackled by that. And if you allow yourself to be that way, I just think it's just like you're a bitch, especially now. Years ago, it wasn't as bad. But now, if you're constraining yourself based on it's like Keemstar. I got in beef with Keemstar the other day. Leafy was trying to get me in a call with Keemstar, and he's like, I can't be on a stream with that dude. And we all know he has to say that because he's on YouTube, and that's why he's got to be pro-trans and defend Chris from Mr. Beast and every other thing. So I just can't.
When
I
in
don't
doubt,
fuck with that
here's
anymore.
the thing. This is what I've realized. When they don't have an argument or they don't really have anything to stand on, when in doubt, play the racism card. It always saves you. It always saves you. Every single time. And that's what they did. They got absolutely outclassed in facts and jokes and entertainment. All they could say is, they made monkey noises.
Yeah, and it's not genuine at all. Like, for example, I know that Keemstar is unvaccinated. I know that he voted for Trump. I know that he holds a lot of extremely right-wing ideas, but to keep his channel alive, he's been banned on YouTube before. He's one, and I like the guy. Like, I think we've had beef before. I like him, but he completely just has his channel in mind. That's the reason he can't associate with you. So he has to insist that you're a bad person in order to keep his channel. But you have to understand why a lot of people do that, because no one wants to lose their income. I mean, same thing happened to Pearl. Everybody's attacking her, calling her racist. When, like, I showed up in London, you had like 10 black people working, all employed. None of them were slaves, and they.
You know what I find
Yeah,
weird?
you know what's crazy? Everyone that works for, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're a little laggy though.
Nick, you know what I find weird is everyone you've ever collaborated with got along with you. Even the black guys on No Jumper, who you double down on. You were saying something about black people fighting in airports, and like, come on, all people fight, and you're like, oh, not really, and you won them over. So I'm like, if there was no slander and all that gay shit, it seems like you talk to every fucking YouTuber and they'd all be chummy with you, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that even with, like, I was on Obsidian's show recently, and I didn't like him initially, but then I watched his show and I thought he was a cool guy, and I got to talk with him and everything. I mean, I go to these places, I'm polite, I'm nice. Like, I'm clearly not
You're
a
even
hateful,
nice to that,
angry person.
homosexual Milo, when you went to meet him face to face for his show, you could have been mean at some of those points, but you know, you really just want to get your message across.
Well, and I love people, even people I don't agree with, even people I'm not from the same background. I mean, I just love people. I'm just like a bubbly, friendly person. I happen to be a total fascist, like far right, whatever. But I love people. So
you know, I find it so weird. Everyone wants to paint you as a white nationalist when 99% of things come to your mouth is Christian nationalism, Christian. And it's like, if you don't know who Nick is, you think it's Richard Spencer. But it's not. Richard Spencer's for abortion. Richard Spencer's for all this gay shit, right? Nietzsche, and there's no Christ in that message. Totally different. But most people who don't know you actually believe you're like this KKK kid, like the young David Duke.
Well, yeah. And I would say even David Duke. I mean,
David Duke is very mild. He's very mild.
And he's actually like a nice guy. I don't want to go and defend him 100%, but I mean, like Spencer, I think Spencer's an interesting case study because he does have this like angry energy. Like he does have this resentful energy, and like a lot of people don't like him. I think he's interesting. Like he makes some interesting points. I don't agree with him. He's obviously a liberal. He might be a Fed or something, pushes a lot of same stuff as like Charles Johnson. Nevertheless, that is the image people get in their heads. If you have certain views about race, religion, they think, oh, this is some freak, this is some angry guy, this is some hater or whatever. And it's like, I'm a totally normal guy, was a totally normal guy, until I just started seeing the same things you did. I didn't wake up and say, you know what, I hate black people today. I was a normal guy. I had black friends throughout high school, throughout grade school, but I just started to look at the facts and say, okay, well,
Nick,
something's going on here. Like there's something, there's legit.
She had something to say. Pearl,
I don't have headphones. I don't know who's talking, Pearl. I'm sorry. I don't have headphones, so I can never tell who's talking.
You're okay. I was gonna. Can you guys hear me? Okay, we had a couple. Okay. I was gonna say, at least you guys are honest about it. Like you're honest about what you believe and what you stand for. Other reaction channels are like liberals like, pretending to be moderates. Like, they're pretending to be in the middle, but they're all liberals.
But then they still beef with other liberals. Like they'll attack each other if they disagree with one thing about transgenderism or one thing about LGBTQ. Then they like H3 and Hasanabi. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Like they started attacking.
I'm preaching H3. They're all woke. Today's video proved that Abba and Preach really are like woke as fuck. They're liberals posing as conservatives, but they're not. They're fence sitters. They go with whatever fucking will get them the most AdSense.
I think they're more centrist, but they're just utilizing the woke audience when it's useful for them.
Just like exactly like today.
Yeah, like they'll say some things that kind of sit on the fence, but then when they don't know how to respond to you, they'll just say like, "Oh, you made monkey noises. You're a racist person."
Which, by the way,
it was retard noises to be exact, because I was calling Preach a retarded window licker. But after looking at that Donkey Kong photo, I can conclude that he's also a monkey.
Okay, all right.
Like, bro, I'm ready to end them. Like, they want to go here and say, "You're a racist, Myron." Cool. The fucking Arab guy that's also black that literally, like, I hit so many different check marks for the KKK. Y'all want to call me racist? Cool, you fucking faggots. Now, let's fucking do it.
Hey, guys, when we speak, everyone raise your hand. Raise your hand.
No.
Raise your hand.
No.
So we take turns.
No, Nick, no, not you.
No. Kidding. I can't do it. Yeah.
Someone's already screenshotted that and put it on Twitter. God. Bro, I lost my YouTube already platforming you, man. Like, let me keep the Rumble for 5 seconds. Rumble.
He did. He started it. He did it. I'm getting blamed.
What I was gonna say is,
Fuck.
I had a big identity crisis when I started doing content instead of security work, because I was like, if I don't unleash my full politics, how do these ABBA Preach guys not feel phony? What are you doing? What the fuck are you?
I heard that some of y'all were raising the salute, so I decided to come back.
Let's go. Poor SNEAKO. Pearl rolls out. Oh, come on.
No!
We're down.
No.
Let's go.
Come on.
No.
Let's go. We're down for whatever.
Let's do it.
This is Nick's wet fantasy for content creators.
Come on.
I can't believe
we're racist. Let's stand
this
on
really
our
is the
10
red
toes
pill
down.
community.
You were calling us feminist liars for a long time, but I told you everybody ends up.
Nick,
Yeah.
this is you're a political operative. This can't be good for your career.
No, this is.
This is my bread and butter. This is what I live for.
You can't hear me. Take your head off.
Bread and butter and the napkin.
Well, what's funny though is like a lot of this stuff is just fun. I mean, here's the problem.
It's just
when
Halloween.
ABBA,
Put a Halloween banner on us.
yeah, he's a ghost. He got a rock. But when they say like, "Oh, you're racist. You did this. You did that." Like for me, my life started politically when I just started saying like, "Okay, whatever. You're racist. You're this. You're that." Okay. Anyway, I feel like so many people are so fixated on arguing. No, I'm not a racist. No, I'm not this and that. And here's the thing. Like, as I said earlier, I love everybody. But the way that term is used, or any of those terms, it's all just political. If you're not liberal, they say you're racist. Therefore, like, you're a piece of shit and no one can talk to you. And I feel like people are just done with those games. Like, how can anyone look at the stream where it's like, it's very interracial or multiracial, whatever you want to say. Interracial in a lot of ways. I'm Mexican and white, and I think you guys are mixed. So it's multiracial.
I'm not mixed.
We're
I'm
all
a pure blood, motherfucker. You a mixed fuck.
I'm full white.
Right. But it's a mixed panel. We got all different kinds of people, and everybody recognizes that we're all like nice people, like we're all friendly, normal people. Just we have different views, different. Maybe we're more right wing or have a different perspective on things.
I don't
and so
think
people
it's
are just
necessarily about left wing or right wing. I think it's more about like, what the fuck is this Jew doing here? I'm kidding.
Bro, all you fucking frauds will not do this shit on your own channel. Do this on Fresh and Fit. Do this on Fresh and Fit, man. Yo, do this on Kick.
And our channels were so mild.
That's crazy.
All right, Myron.
So Nick, I'm wondering. What I'm wondering is.
No, he's coming. He's back.
Okay. What I'm wondering, Nick, is.
SNEAKO's sweating right now.
Do you remember when ABBA asked you, would you rather have a black Catholic or an atheist white woman? And you I think you doubled down. I think you said white.
Yeah.
Because you want your kids to look like you.
Yeah.
That was the reason?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's what they always do.
No, let's add a plot twist. She's Jewish and white.
Oh, well, then she's not white.
Yeah, that's not.
No. By faith, not by mother, just by faith.
But Jewish isn't white. Jewish
no,
is
if
not
she converted to Judaism.
You can't. That's impossible. The only way a person can convert to Judaism is if they intermarry. They marry in.
Interesting. So, really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. When Keemstar tweeted that he might convert to Judaism, how would that work?
I mean, people say that, but real religious Jews do not accept that. They don't embrace that. Even so-called converts are ostracized.
Do you remember that? Because I stole that joke from you. You tweeted, "Enjoy your 2 pieces of silver for Susan Wojcicki."
I did, yeah.
Was that the team?
I think so. Yeah, it was. But I wouldn't marry a Jew. I mean, if it was a Jew versus a Catholic, I'd marry the Catholic, whoever they are.
Do you have any Jewish friends that you know? Like, I don't know many Jewish people, but I know some. If the girl's hot, right? I don't let her do Zohar Kabbalah magic on me, right? I just kiss her.
They're cursed, dude. They're cursed. You can't. Jewish women in particular, because you'll be interested in this. They actually have a different creation story. A lot of the Jews, they don't believe in Adam and Eve. They believe in Lilith.
Lilith, yeah. The tempts, yeah, that breaks up Adam and Eve, yeah.
So the women in particular, the Jewish women have this weird energy.
You think they carry, like, you know, we say whores carry the spirit of Jezebel. Do you think they carry this demonic spirit of Lilith?
100%, yeah, absolutely.
But you wouldn't say the Lilith story is real, but this archetype in their head of destroying marriages is real, right?
What's the Lilith? What's that?
So Christians believe that God created Adam, and then God took a rib from Adam, and from the rib made Eve. So from God, man, and then from man, woman. You know, woman's created from a man's rib to be his helper. But the Jews believe in the story that God created a man and a woman. And they both were created by God.
It's an equality thing, isn't it? It's pushing equality, man and woman at the same time.
Right. But it was a big problem because Lilith became evil and she started destroying everything, and so God took her out.
I mean, when you look at where we're at in society, it does kind of look like that, where they push for equality with Adam and Eve in the Jewish version, and then the feminism took over with Lilith. It's like you as soon as you make woman equal to man, the feminine nature, the feminine principle destroys everything it touches.
Yeah. So I would never marry a Jew. But the reason I would marry a white non-Catholic over a non-white Catholic is because race matters. They always think it's some big own when they're like, oh, is it race or religion? It's like, well, both are important. I mean, that's our whole ideology. I mean, that'd be like saying, would you marry a man who's a Catholic or a woman who's an atheist? It's like, well, that gender matters too. Our whole ideology is about distinction. And distinctions in race matter, distinctions in religion matter, distinction in gender matters, distinction in age matters, distinction matters. It's liberals that say,
I would say distinction is identity. The one thing you need to avoid depression and despair is a sense of identity within the community and yourself. And it's got to be genuine. If you feel like a Catholic but hang with Muslims, and you're trying to be Muslim, you know what I mean? If you feel like a Catholic, you are, right? I hang with Muslims, you guys don't convert me. But now look at this.
Soon.
Have you noticed as young men age, especially like in our parents' age, we get very into our roots. It's like the closer we get to death, the more we look at our own history. That's probably the most important thing to do when you're 20 years old. It's like huge. If you're a fucking Chinese and don't know shit about your own fucking people, you're missing a bunch of who you are. There's memories uploaded in your DNA that you haven't even fucking experienced. Like, whether you do it our way right now or when you're 45 and, everyone's dad has a midlife crisis and starts going obsessed with his own heritage, you will confront the who am I, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Genetics is so much more important than anybody wants to believe. And in a way, it makes us uncomfortable because genetics are not fixable. I think that's why people avoid it, because there's this determinism in it that if your genetics are one way, well, then you're kind of destined for a particular kind of life. And people don't like to hear that. They want to hear that anyone can do anything, anyone can be anything. And when you tell people, well, you have a fixed IQ, you're going to have a fixed height, you're going to have a fixed this, your behaviors in some ways are coded into your DNA. People say that the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. That's true because you're raised by your parents, but also it's because genetically you're similar and the same as your parents. And so they say that actually around the age of 20, that's when your genetics have more of an influence over your behavior than how you were raised. That's when genetics reasserts itself. And so anyway, when it comes to things like race, people say, well, it's skin color, it's skin deep. They're made uncomfortable by the fact that it's genetic. And the same goes for man and woman. They say, well, what difference does my genitalia have? It's not just genitalia. It's genetics. Like, we're genetically different. And that has consequences.
The most embarrassing thing is when people go, it's just pigment, it's just color. Really? Tell a white guy and a black guy to play at the NBA on average. It's not just skin color. We're talking about bones, density and structure and size.
And well, it's genetic difference. And, you know, that's okay. It's okay that there's diversity between groups and there's diversity within groups. And the answer is to say that we're all children of God. The answer is that we all have souls, and there is inequality baked into the cake, but we just have to be respectful to each other. We have to accommodate for those differences rather than pretend that they don't exist, because that's what the left wants to do. That's ultimately what liberalism is predicated on, is saying that everyone is the same. We're all pink on the inside. Any ideas in our head were put in there by education or by, you know, our parents or something. In reality, the information is in our blood. It's in our DNA. We can't help it.
You know, it's funny to me, these gay buzzwords like diversity, or my most hated is liberty, because it actually comes from liberation from God's law, what Lucifer does. All this enlightenment talk comes from running from the church. Liberty is not a good word. Every time someone says it, it rings a bell of freedom and escaping some shackles as a black man. That's not where it comes from at all.
Nick, to make it topical, today's the first day of Pride Month, and I see tweets going around that it was created by actually, I don't know if it's true, but a Jewish bisexual sex worker who started Pride Month. Pride, for everyone in the chat knows, is the number one of the 7 deadliest sins in the Bible and Christianity, and it's pretty much 30 days straight of straight degeneracy. People, which is the highest suicide rate out of any minority group, LGBT youth. Like 50% of them consider suicide. But do you know the origins of Pride Month?
I don't know the origin of the month. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a Jew, but they're they're libertine. What? It's true. They're behind it all. They did the first trans surgeries. Like, they're behind all the LGBT degenerate stuff.
Yeah, why is that? See, I'm not an anti-Semite at all, but like, I look at stuff like Tel Aviv. Like, they're one of the, when Pride Month comes around, there's so much celebration for this LGBT stuff in Tel Aviv. Yeah,
it's the gayest country in the world. Israel has the most
is that
homosexuals. True? Yeah, I'm not even making that up. No shit. Israel is literally the gay capital of the world.
Wait, Pearl,
Tel Aviv.
Pearl said something, but she's cutting out a little. Well, go ahead.
You there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That here is so bad. I said, why isn't there straight Pride Month if they have gay Pride Month? They should have straight Pride Month.
Or Family Month.
Yeah, everyone that is straight or wants a family can just celebrate.
What about Gay Shame Month? Instead of straight pride, what if we had gay shame? And we had a parade going through the streets where we were like, shame.
And then Nick comes in with the hood and he does the salute that I'm not going to do. That was...
Oh, there you go.
Do you know...
But... It's interesting you get so much hate for your thoughts on like race mixing and that sort of thing. Because I hear Dr. Umar say the exact same thing. He says the exact same thing, but you are villainized for it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because I'm white. I mean, they want everyone to be cool with. It's incumbent on white people to not speak out against this for any of it to succeed. Because, and as a matter of fact, when you look at the advertisements, it's always very one-sided. It's always non-white male, white female. That's always what they push, and it's very pernicious. Like, there's clearly an agenda there, and they don't want white people to develop any kind of racial consciousness. Black people can say, you know, black power, black pride all day long. Every other group can do the same thing. If a white guy starts to say white pride, white power, whatever, then everybody says, oh, no, shut it down. Why? Well, what is that? Who does that sound like? What would that sound like?
Right.
And why was that bad? Because of a thing. We don't need to get into that, but it does follow that logic. And the reason they don't want white people to have any kind of solidarity is because if white people did, they would probably not have a problem with arresting everybody in Chicago. The reason we had to stop police doing their job in Chicago is because you arrest all the criminals, and most of them are one group, and then the jails are full of one group, and that's racist. We can't have that. So we can't lock up criminals. And if white people had racial solidarity, we'd say, hey, why is everyone that runs the media one group that isn't white people? And why are they all liberal? Why are they all communist? We'd probably say, hey, we don't want those people running the media anymore. And then you'd have a very different media landscape. And, you know, so it would have this cascading effect, and the groups that are in charge would lose out in the event that happened. If there was any
ironically,
sense of patriotism.
One of the biggest psyops I saw this described on Twitter was they got the upper middle class white people. I don't know if you guys grew up upper middle class, but that's one of the biggest psyops that they got to remove any white community, was send them to college for 4 years, give them a bunch of drugs, make them sexually liberated, tell them for 4 years that they're bad just for being white, because all colleges are infected by wokeness. And by the time they leave college, they have more debt. They've been psyoped. They have a big body count. They've done a bunch of drugs. And now they have no choice but to go join the woke crowd, move to Brooklyn, dye their hair blue, and change their gender.
My college, they had trans people in the dorms with us. Isn't that crazy? Like, they literally had a whole floor, like, that was dedicated to trans people. We were like one of the first people that had trans people in the dorm.
I wish I went to your college. I could have killed that by becoming SNEAKITA. That would have been a great way to get some pussy. But Nick, did you drop out of college?
Yeah, I did. I went to college for a year and then I dropped out. And,
you went to BU at a terrible time too.
Yeah, well, I went during the election. I was there when Trump got elected, and
I left college. I graduated in 2013, right before the wokeness completely took Boston over.
Yeah, well, and Boston's an extremely liberal city, and then I was on an extremely liberal campus in an extremely liberal city.
On Commie Ave.
I remember.
Commie Ave.
That's right, yeah, Commonwealth. And I would go into the dining hall wearing a MAGA hat, and people would just pull up and berate me, literally. Like gay people, black people, Muslims. Like one time I almost got in a fight. There were like these 3 African guys from Africa sitting at another table, and I was going on some big rant very loudly with somebody else. And they start screaming at me. They're like, what did you say? And I mean, I don't back down, but I would have gotten my ass kicked. I mean, there was like 3 of them. They're all huge. And I was like, you heard what I said, you know? And actually some white liberal girl got in the middle of it and saved me. Because otherwise it would have been another one of these stories.
That's a very funny story to tell while Pearl's slave goes and walks in the background in the middle of that story.
Oh, come on, don't take that about
What? I only said that because she has headphones in and he didn't hear the joke, but shout out to Blessing. Pearl, I want to ask you about what you keep talking about the reaction channels, and what have Abba and Preach lied about you specifically?
Well, the first time I noticed they lied about me was when I had that video of me talking about how I was kind of joking about women not being able to vote. I wasn't serious in the video, but they sort of painted it like I was. But maybe it was just a precursor, because now I really don't think women should vote. So that was the first one. But the biggest thing was they attributed a tweet I had about someone else. They said it was about my ex-boyfriend. They basically said this whole narrative about my ex-boyfriend that wasn't true. Yeah. You there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, and then they also said I lied about a stat, which I didn't. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. They said I lied about women being fatter than men. They said I was misleading my audience and I was lying about the stat. Then I commented my source. So I said, no, women are fatter than men. Here's the source. And frickin' they edited their comment because they had a comment calling me a liar. And so I added the source. And then frickin' then they edited their comment to remove what they said. And then just changed their comment to what the comments said. But it was, it's crazy.
One thing I saw recently, you were getting criticisms from Michael Sartain for platforming Nick Fuentes. What was that about? What he was he saying that you shouldn't? Can you describe that?
Yeah, Mike. I didn't realize there was going to be such a grilling when I don't know.
Is he a Jew?
I don't think so. I think he's a Christian.
I don't think so. I actually like Mike. I think he's a really talented content creator. But yeah, I'm trying to remember what he said about Nick. I don't even remember. It was something I needed to push back more and know more about him, and you couldn't not know everything he's done. Maybe it was something I think their main criticism was I should have known more about Nick before having him on.
You should push back more, essentially.
Yeah, like, and I need to be more prepared.
You need to disagree with him to talk to him.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't actually remember too much. I do so many like interviews, I kind of forget, but it was something along those lines. Yeah, Nick, it's like every interview I go to, you are brought up, let me tell you.
Sorry, yeah, that's just, that's how it goes. I don't even know why I'm so controversial. It's like, what's even the problem? Well, I mean, I guess I know why, but, you know, it's just like, what, I can't disagree? That's literally it. They're like, if you don't have the correct opinions, then, like, you know, now I'm not a human being. They go, why did you talk to the guy with the wrong opinion? Do we all have to have the same opinion? I don't understand.
Oh, well, and I just didn't understand because I was like, if you don't like the way I do interviews, you should do it on your own channel. Like, I feel like I've worked hard to build the channel I've built, and it's like, if you don't want to do interviews the way I do interviews, why don't you just do them on your own channel? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That guy's cringe. I think he called someone.
The biggest thing I saw, like when because at first I used to think Abba and Preach were right about, like the Anna Quinn stuff looked really, really bad. But when I saw the context of the Anna Quinn stuff for like about Myron, I thought that was really messed up because I didn't realize all the context behind it.
Yeah, they had to spin a certain narrative, obviously. Like, the thing is with those guys is they're not here to put out the truth. They're here to get clicks and views and get the biggest shock factor. And the thing is that a lot of their audience is women. So if they can like get this certain narrative out there, that's what's going to happen. Because a lot of women surprisingly watch them. I don't know why, but yeah, they do. So
do they really?
Yeah, a lot of them watch them, which is why they have to sit in the middle all the time. They can't really stand on anything.
Well, because they're kind of like they just tell women what they want to hear, and that's what I realized about you guys. You guys are at least honest. Like half the guys that like criticize, like even me, they were criticizing me for saying that like I would stay with the guy who cheated when Abba had a whole video on cheating. It's like at least the red pill guys are honest. Like they're not lying about what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, for them to make the most money, they have to be able to deal with both sides as a reaction channel. That's what you do. The whole part of being a reaction channel is that you sit in the middle so that you can go ahead and double dip on both sides, and that's what they do. And honestly, that's why I don't respect a lot of these guys, because they reactively make content where we proactively make it, and then they go ahead and react. You know, with 20/20 hindsight, whatever. They're basically, we're the LeBron James. They're the fucking Skip Bayless. That's really what it comes down to. So, and the thing is that the other thing I exposed as well is that Preach ran around saying like, oh, they insulted my wife. It was never his wife. So you used that, right, as like that, because I was like, their main thing was like, you insulted someone's family member, and they ran with that narrative for like a year plus, and then we found out, oh, it's not even his wife. So why'd y'all do that? You guys did that purely to go ahead and get shock value, and then they try to say that we're racist towards Haitians, and I'm like, bruh, my sound engineer is Haitian. But again, they have to go ahead and go with that certain narrative. And he was what? You're prepared to fight me over some fat chick that you do comedy with? No, they never want to fight in the first place. That's why me and ZHERKA said, you know what? We'd gladly fight you, both you motherfuckers. They didn't say nothing about fighting on their last video. Nothing. Especially Abba. Abba knows deep down, that if he ever saw me in person, he said the stupid shit that he said in person, and it actually came to a physical confrontation, I would absolutely destroy him. He knows that. That's why he keeps his mouth shut, doesn't say anything. Because he knows from our culture in that part of the world, when you invite someone to your home and you do the fuck shit that he did, you get your ass kicked. That's why I have such a problem. It's because not only is he should know better where he's from, but I'm not surprised. He renounced Islam. His family don't fuck with him. He's a snake. Like, I'm not surprised that he did that fuck shit. Integrity. He claims to have integrity, but he doesn't at all. You know what I mean? So the only way that you can deal with these idiots is you can't out-logic them. You have to just clown them. That's what I figured out after everything, because they're going to always take things out of context. So you know what? You want to call me racist? Let me put this hood on and roast you motherfuckers. You are monkeys. That's how you got to go with them. That's it. You don't sit there and try to disprove their fucking allegations or whatever. You could do that in the first half like we did. But then after that, you just fucking cook them. And if they keep talking shit, I'm going to keep cooking them. Because I got more pictures, I got more ammo, I can continue to embarrass the fuck out of them, and they know it. That's why they got to run around like little scally dogs now, because not only will I embarrass you, make fun of y'all, I'll also beat you the fuck up too. So that's what it is. And Abba knows this. That's why he doesn't say a damn fucking word about physicality. He doesn't ever.
Myron went so hard he lost his voice middle of the stream. I've never seen somebody like give that much energy in there.
That's the only person on YouTube that I would gladly punch in the face if given an opportunity.
And
Put me in a steel cage with Abba. Anytime.
I'll host it.
I will literally beat him up for free. I don't even care about a boxing contract, nothing. He needs to get punched in the face. He's been doing this for 10 plus years, talking shit with zero consequences. Now I'm going to roast you. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to make you look like the fucking faggot you really are. And on top of that, if you want to do something physically, I'll beat the fuck out of you. And he knows that shit. I'm trained to kill. I don't brag about that shit, right? But my training makes me very dangerous for people like him.
Nick, do you think he beat the Fed allegations?
I do. Yeah, I do. Because
Nice.
I was a little bit concerned at first because when I think back when the Ye thing was going on back in November, I think Myron, you said something like, oh, you know, I'm law enforcement or something. I was like, oh shit, this guy's a Fed. Like this guy's straight up Fed. I'm very suspicious just generally because you see these like right-wing militias and they're all full of like former law enforcement, and like you flip a coin, they're still like a confidential informant or something. But based on that awesome KKK performance earlier, I'm like, this guy's awesome.
I got a sense of humor, man.
Based.
I got a sense of humor. And the thing is, too, is that, like, I didn't work for the FBI. I worked for Homeland Security. So I did more, like, Mexican cartel investigations, drug trafficking, human smuggling, human trafficking, that type of shit, border crimes. So I did that for a while. I mean, let's be honest here. The FBI is being weaponized as a political law enforcement agency nowadays. 2 FBI agents actually went on that are whistleblowers on the PBD podcast earlier today, and they talked about it. And that was actually a really good interview. But, even the government's getting, infected with this wokeism bullshit. So the thing with me is I have a sense of humor. It's just that I don't show it that much on Fresh and Fit because, we're trying to help guys self-improve, and, mindless humor.
Just on my stream where you don't face any consequences for it, I'm the only one who's going to get banned for you putting on a
they're going to see
hood.
a different side that they don't see how Fresh and Fit. Y'all get some entertainment here, right? Because I've always been a Dave Chappelle fan. I've always been like really against like this stupid like racism bullshit. Like I make fun of all races. I make fun of Asians, blacks, Hispanics, everybody, Arabs, whatever. People made fun of me after 9/11 for years, bro. But when people don't have a real argument, they use the race card, and that really pisses me off. Like, because I faced real racism. So for me, it's like, okay, I got bullied. I got thick skin now, so I can take these jokes. But other people, when they don't have a rebuttal, you're racist. All right, cool. I'm racist. Let me put this fucking white hood on and continue to roast you. Now what? That's how you deal with these fucking pussies.
Can I ask? I want to ask. I think this is good for this panel. Obviously, Myron and Pearl, they have some disagreements, but there's a lot of like the red pill. ZHERKA's in the shower, but there's a lot of the red pill content creators. Like I guess you can classify
About
as
damn
that.
time. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, a lot of the red pill content creators. Nick, you've been doing it for a lot longer than I have. I've been streaming for about a year. Are you? 2 questions I have. One, are you seeing more unity right now? Are you seeing more people starting to wake up? And where do you think the direction of the red pill, which is just the truth, that's the analogy in the Matrix, is where it comes from. Where do you see the future, and where do you see it right now as somebody who's been doing it for longer than I have?
Well, I think what you're seeing right now is like a huge new wave, because the first wave was like 2015 and 2016. And we talked about this a little bit on the last panel. That was the first year when you had smartphone, social media usage and adoption at an all-time high. That's the first time I think it really broke some sort of a threshold. And as a consequence, everybody was taking it as far as they could go. And suddenly a lot of people that were outside the conversation on television and print and radio were now in the conversation online. Citizen journalists, these like dissident intellectuals, dissident political types. And so because of that, it just so happens that everybody became a lot more right-wing. And a lot of these controversial ideas were being talked about on Twitter, on 4chan, on Joe Rogan. And it turns out that people had an appetite for these ancient ideas. I mean, when we say red pill means that, like in the Matrix, a lot of people think red pill means like, well, women are dumb, or red pill means like, blacks commit crime or something. To me, the simplest idea of the red pill is that the world is not as it seems. Like we see one world, which is based on a regulated media and regulated medium of information, but there's actually a real world outside of that we don't get to see. And that's because of control of media, control of information. When that monopoly on information is destroyed by the internet and the proliferation of smartphones and social media, everybody starts to see, wait a minute, things aren't as they seem with crime, gender, race, religion, anything. And after 2016, they started cracking down. Twitter cracked down, Facebook cracked down, YouTube cracked down. The terms of service got more severe. They started banning people. And because they started banning people, not only were some people just straight up excluded, but there was a chilling effect. Everybody said, well, I don't want to get banned. I don't want to lose my livelihood. I don't want to lose my channel. So there was like this twofold effect. One, they got a lot of people out of the conversation, and then they got a lot of people to take themselves out by self-censoring, because they said, I'm not gonna be the next Jared Taylor. I'm not gonna be the next David Duke that gets banned from the whole internet. In the last couple of years, there's a second wave that's been brought on, basically since Trump got banned on Twitter. And I said this on my show. I said they jumped the shark. They went too far, because you ban Trump from Twitter. That's the president. That's a guy that just won 74 million votes. This is a guy who, he's basically too big to fail. You can't cancel him. And so I predicted there'd be a lot of venture capital that would come in and create a free speech space that would allow him. And then you bring in Rumble, you bring in Elon Musk buying Twitter, which is totally out of left field. And because of these new efforts to kind of bring people back, and this like jumping the shark effect, I think people are like, you know what, fuck it. Like, they banned the president. Clearly it's gone too far. And so now I think there's this like new, it's like a second wave where the consciousness is rising. People are talking again. They're talking about these ideas. And I think it's even more right-wing than the first time, because the first time, if you remember when Trump ran in 2016, it was like, you know, the war in Iraq was a mistake. The trade deals are bad, you know, whatever. Nowadays, people are like, guess what? Transgenderism is gay is a sin. And people are becoming more religious. Like, religiosity is coming back. Now it's got a much more Christian or religious conservative flavor to it than it did 7 years ago. 7 years ago, it was very secular. It was very scientific. It was like scientific racism, the Jordan Peterson psychology stuff. Nowadays, it's very much about, it's Catholics and Muslims. It's like Andrew Tate, a Muslim, and, or, you know, or you, SNEAKO, or you, MYRON. And then it's a lot of Catholics. It's Christians. It's guys like Ye, who's a hardcore Christian. It's me. I'm a hardcore Catholic. So I'm very optimistic based on this development. It's like the tech has gotten a lot better. And overall, like, the red pill, if you could say, is getting more red pill. Like, the red pill is getting more right wing. It's going deeper. Because it's like you said, the red pill isn't just being right wing, or I think ZHERKA said it earlier. The red pill is realizing that it's reality. It's like when Tate says, you know, the real world, it's reality. Like, what they say on the media is fake. They try to create this narrative about, oh, you know, first the white people killed all the Indians, then they enslaved all the blacks, then they killed all the Jews, and now we're going to kill them because they just can't stop being racist. And all this stuff about transgender and black women are the real heroes. They built America. It's just fake. And so people are discovering timeless traditions, timeless truths. That's why they're going for both Islam and Catholic. Because in Islam, they see the old world. In Islam, where they see sexism, or maybe not sexism, but they see women taking the natural role. They see men being strong. They see people praying and being pious. It's old world, timeless. These are things humans have been doing for 10,000 years, as opposed to all, you know, the degenerate liberal shit where people are jerking off and playing video games and doing other meaningless surrogate activities. So I think the consciousness has been raised, and I've never been more optimistic about where things are going than I am now. And like you said, I've been watching this stuff closely for 6-7 years. I don't think it's ever been better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't been in that specific space for that many years, but it seems like there's starting to be an awakening that you can't ignore. It used to be some sort of fringe thing on the internet, but now way more people seem to be talking about it, even in the 1 year that I've been streaming. The chat keeps bringing up saying that you were going to talk about the Ye situation on a panel in the next stream. I don't remember you saying that, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I did want to ask you.
Yeah, so there was some news about Ye 24 a few weeks ago, and some of it was true, and a lot of it was fake, because the Jew pedophile Milo Yiannopoulos was involved, and I mean, that guy, like, is addicted to lying. I don't think he's ever said a true thing in his life. So he got back into the equation and created all this drama. And I wanted to go out and do an interview with
Milo's one of the boys.
Milo's is Jewish.
Oh,
he's like the boy. He's like the Lucifer's boy. But
whoa,
anyway.
Whoa.
Straight up, like, if you know that guy, bad news. In any case, I'd like to do at some point.
He was nice to me. He didn't offer me any Percocet or anything like that. I didn't sleep on the floor in the hotel. He was good to me. I do have to put that out there. But
nah, he's a scumbag, and you know, and maybe I'll explain the whole story there too. But I think I'd like to do an interview at some point with purpose of just kind of doing like a year in review and talk about everything that happened because, you know, there's a few sides to that story and, you know, or not, we'll see. Here's the thing. I don't like to be indiscreet. I hate to be the guy that's like, well, here's what's going on behind the scenes because I think it's very unprofessional and just not manly. But by the same token, so much has been said in the press at this point by that Jew. And, you know, there's a lot that's out there. I feel like it would be appropriate to clear the air, but I just like to do it in a good forum because, you know, I mean, I'll just say this much. It's June 1st. And I'll just give a little sample. I mean, well, I'm not going to give a sample. But
just a little bit, just a little bit. We got 15K on Rumble right now. This is one of the highest view streams I've had in a long time. Cook a little, Nick. All right.
I'll cook a little bit, okay? I'll cook a little bit, and I'll just say this. So, you know, last month, it is true that Milo was brought back into the equation. It appears to be like for a week or something. I don't know if that's still going on. But he comes in, and I told Ye, I said, listen, and I have the text. It's my text. I could share it if I wanted to. I could read it, but I'll just summarize it. I said, look, I said, Ye, I said, bringing Milo back into this campaign, or this political team, I should say, I said, this is just a terrible idea. I said, because we have set a June 1st deadline for ourselves for when we were going to do something. I said, we've got a treasurer. We've got a staff ready to hire. I said, we've got a website. I said, we are all ready to go. I said, we are so close. I said, and if you bring this guy in, he's just going to fuck everything up. I said, our treasurer's going to quit. I said, the staff is not going to want to be hired. I said, this website's never going to launch. I said, in addition to other reasons, I said, and what's more, I said, he still lives with his husband. I said, so that totally goes against your message. He's still living with his gay husband. I said, he stole from your campaign. He's done nothing but talk trash about you in public. I said, so for those reasons, and the FEC violation, I said, for that reason, I said, you know, it's a terrible idea to bring this guy back on board. And, well, I mean, here it is, June 1st. And, you know, the result speaks for itself. So I'll just give you a little sample. That's just a little preview. But at some point, maybe I'll go and tell the full story. It's just very frustrating because, you know, we all wanted it to happen. We all really worked hard to make this thing a reality and make it be about that message, which he was talking about in November and December. But at the end of the day, it just didn't come together. And
I gotta vouch for you. I gotta vouch for you publicly. I think you did do your best. Ye was extremely impressed with everything you talked about, and I think that you were giving him the right. You were the right person behind the scenes to give him a lot of the information. Like he was getting a lot of the ideas correct, but you were the one giving him the facts and a lot of the talking points. Not like some people were going with the narrative like, oh, Nick Fuentes is brainwashing Ye to be a white supremacist. That's absolutely not the case. Ye came to those conclusions himself, but you were showing him how he could explain it properly. And it was really cool to see like that synergy in the brainstorming sessions, how like you were like probably like the perfect person to be behind the scenes for him on Ye 24. So I am disappointed to see you go. And yeah, Ye personally, like he said, that we don't gel creatively. So it's I don't think I'm coming back on there either. But I mean, of course I would like to, but it doesn't seem, I think without you personally, I will say, I think without you, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, we're still in touch. I'm still friends with him when we still talk, and I still love him. Like everything that I've said about him in the past is still the case. Like, and you saw it. I mean, like you said, we had a great synergy, and I really have an admiration for him, and he inspires me, and I think he's brilliant. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work out this time around, and you know, we'll see. I mean, I still talk to him, so who knows? Maybe something will come of it. But if not now, maybe in the future. But yeah, I agree. I mean, we did really have this good connection because you're right. I mean, his instincts are so on point that he just figured out, like the things that I talk about on my show, it's like he just run through them just with pure intuition and instinct. It's like when he did the Tucker interview and he said, I think Jared Kushner was just making money for Israel. And he didn't know the details, of course, but I went on my show and I'm like, yeah, like that's exactly right. Like, and that's the thing. Some people just have that intuition. Some people just have that wisdom, and he possessed that. And so we made a great team in the sense that I brought the years of experience working through these issues, and he brought that star power, that genius channeling and everything, and you know, so that's okay. But
I think you guys also agree. I don't know if you ever seen, but Tim Pool kind of did a similar interview with Myron that he did with you.
I didn't see that. No, what happened?
What did Tim Pool do a setup interview, Myron?
Nah. He like someone I think super chatted in a question about the DMCA strikes or some shit like that.
That was it. Okay.
That was it. Yeah, he didn't set it up. Someone asked a question or whatever.
I'd be worried about that. I'm going there next week, 5 days.
He's gonna ask you about Nick Fuentes 100%. I mean, like to see the pattern.
He does because he doesn't want to talk about me.
Oh, he doesn't want to give you a bigger platform.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, yeah, because with Tim Pool, I mean, this guy, he was saying for years, like back in 2020, people were saying, get Nick Fuentes on, and he would say, and his excuse the first time, and he had like a neocon Jew producer. He had his producer named Lydia, and she was literally a Jewish Zionist neocon. She did the booking on the show. And so she would go on Twitter and say, who should I invite on the show this week? And it would be Nick Fuentes 100 times. And it would be in the live chat, bring in Nick Fuentes. It would be in the super chats, bring in. And he would say, well, I'm not going to bring him on if you keep asking. You're asking too much. I'm not going to appear to be forced to bring him on because you just, and it's like, wait a second. So you're asking who to bring on. People tell you, and then you go, oh, no. I don't want to look like I'm being forced to bring him on. It's like you asked. Isn't that a good thing anyway, that there's interest? So that was their first excuse. Then later on, they were asked again, and they said, well, he's not newsworthy. That was after January 6th. January 6th happened. I was on the no-fly list. The feds took my money. Like, all this stuff was going on. And he's like, yeah, no, it's just not newsworthy. Newsworthy? It was on Tucker Carlson. So
I won't be asked about you?
No, because they don't even want to. I don't think they even want to utter my name. Although they might. Who knows?
I guess we'll see.
But, yeah, so you know how that goes. They don't want to bring me on, probably because they're Jews involved, but also because they don't want to risk it with YouTube. They're very risk averse. Why?
The funny thing too, I know you disagree with Muslims a lot of the time, but when we were in Dubai, can I tell the story about what happened in the club with that chant?
Which one?
When you got a lot of the Palestinians to start chanting a certain.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. It was funny,
bro. You tell the story. You tell the story.
I don't remember the story.
We were in the club, and then you found a bunch of Palestinians, and then everyone started saying a certain chant about the Yehudi. I'm not going to repeat it because the stream has been a little much, but yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to remember it.
Don't worry about it.
Was it in Arabic?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it off stream because this is already going to get me in hot water.
I need to,
Yeah, I mean, we probably made jokes on them. I don't know, bro. We like I said before, I make jokes on everybody, so it is what it is.
That is true.
I literally make fun of every single race.
He did call me a chink nigger a couple times in the stream. Nick laughs hard at that word. Okay. Appreciate you guys for coming on. This is a fun panel. And happy Pride Month. Hope you guys are able to not get locked in traffic with penis balloons.
All right. Thanks, guys. Easy. Take care.
Peace.
Doing this appreciate it.
Hey, what up, Nick?
Hey, what's going on?
ZHERKA wanted to talk to you again, so I was like, fuck it, let's call him back. Fuck it.
I'm gonna be honest.
Let's go.
SNEAKO, you're the dead weight here. Just leave the mic on me.
Get the fuck out of
here. You have low energy.
Bro, it has nothing to do with on you. It's fucking up. It's fucking up everybody's speakers. We can still hear you if it's away.
All right. I'm just being appreciative.
Okay.
Myron,
what you want to ask him? What you want to ask him?
Yeah, Myron with the black pilling stuff that people say is red pill really fucking saved me a bunch of time and money. And I thought I had it figured out. I was 70% of the way there. You finished it, and now I appreciate that. What I appreciate about SNEAKO is he's the only influencer to ever keep boosting me when I was attacking him and calling him a homosexual for a week because he wouldn't disavow Jake Paul's satanic ritual. And then finally, my man Nick, you got to remember, I was the first MAGA channel canceled on Twitch. 1 week later, the whole world against me. I'm perma-banned. They platform you on Scuff Podcast, and my chat floods in and says, you got to see this Nick guy, right? He's that guy. I watch, and the first time in my life after losing every job, girlfriend, friend, ostracized from my city, everything for comedy or MAGA, I lost everything. I was doing drugs and drinking, and the highest level of despair, I was staying on Omegle a fucking weird ass website talking to some dude who's about to kill himself. We're talking about killing ourselves. And that's where they found me and scouted me for a show. But, and then I got on that show, and a week later, you were on the Scuff. And seeing you have all the temperament, positions, and straightness, non-homosexual version of the right wing, seeing that, I swear to God, and I know people are going to use this against me if I platform this, you don't know what it's like to be saved by some fucking teenager. It made me look like the biggest faggot in my psyche that I obsessed over politics, and he really made me read a lot more about that stuff before I got into esoteric. Nick, I'm telling you, man, just like how you felt alone and then Trump came out of nowhere and your eyes filled with energy, I was late on the Trump thing. I didn't really think it was going to go through. I wasn't predicting it like you back then. Now I'm doing better than you at predicting. But Nick, I'm telling you, when your eyes filled up with hope because Trump came on the scene, that's exactly how I found your channel. And I felt so phony when all my friends and family said, don't watch Nick. You are poor. You are in debt. You don't need these positions. They're going to dox your family. They're going to kill you. And I'm like, how the fuck does Nick not care about his family being in danger? And I'm sure he did. That's why he was watered down in the beginning and then started really building up momentum the closer he came to the Christ, right? And I'm watching and I'd see the D-Live stuff and I'd take some months off watching you. And it was like always a magnet. And just, I know I beat Hassan Piker in a debate, but seeing you wipe the floor with that little bitch and how you totally exposed Sargon for being some kind of like classical liberal faggot, like totally in the middle, just seeing that, I'm like, there's a skinny little fucking teenage nerd with more balls to open in an actual mainstream website with, why? So we can bomb Iraq and all the Middle Eastern nations for Israel? You opened with that in the debate. Who the fuck opens with that? That level of courage, I was blown away. I'm telling you, you are the reason, the sole purpose to why I don't think Christianity is gay. You are the only, if you didn't exist, I would be fucked. Because I'd say, man, I gotta go to a gay Protestant church or an Orthodox church that doesn't believe in sin and doesn't fucking make sense. The Catholic Church, who literally they were getting their heads cut off believing in Christ just so we can have this world. This is the church I want to protect. And I'm telling you, Nick, you affected my life so much that there was a guilt inside that I didn't speak up more. But I'm telling you, Nick, right now, I have done more to bridge the red pill community to Christ than any influencer in the game, because they need a Chad getting bitches. For some reason, they're that pathetic. They think, oh, women are so great. I promise you, I will spawn 100 ZHERKAs. We're gonna detonate. We're fucking suicidal, motherfuckers. You just need us to explode, and we're hiring the brown ones too, right? We'll get the brown ones to explode, right? This is all comedy. So Nick, when I'm done with my martyr revolution, you have to promise the first thing you do is put Hassan Piker in prison. The first thing,
okay, Myron,
when you're a leader, no,
okay,
Nick.
No more glazing. No,
because I know Nick will go for Charlie Kirk and these right
on it right now.
Hassan Piker's going to prison.
Month, but you're doing tricks on it, Myron.
Another thing, I got one more question, Nick. One question.
You didn't even have a question.
Shut the fuck up, bro. I'm the future, bro. Yo, Nick, why are you dressed as a nigga? Like, who dressed you today? Why are you dressed as a black guy?
Look, I did my show in the suit. I want to get comfortable, and it's midnight.
You used to have the
Now
best suits, and you know what's funny? Nick, I hate to attack you, but love the background. It's nostalgic, but dude, you're a millionaire. Yeah. Get a new green screen. Can we have a new office? Yeah. Let's get a new office background. I'll get my visual arts director to get you something good. But we've had the same background for so long. We need a big background. We need a big nose. And just a big nose that you're battling with a fucking X.
Okay, Myron had a question.
But Nick, I'm trying to say there's something nostalgic about you. Like, I grew up around my Albanian cousins and stuff. Bro. And there's something about you that you need to get under people's skin, but you're not doing it for fun. You're actually doing it to change,
ZHERKA, can I say something
consciousness in the world. Fuck you gonna do, clown? Yo, Nick, I could fucking knock these guys out. Jesus is king.
Fucking homo.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right.
all of that.
So,
It's
Nick,
goat fucking Muslim time, all right? I left Islam. It's your turn, Myron.
do I gotta put the hood back on and call you an Albanian nigger again to get you in line, you fucking fag?
Your power level's too high. You're taking my comedy. Stop.
All right. So, yo, Nick, know what I was gonna? It was more of a comment because I noticed that with the Ye thing, when he said, who controls the banks and everything else like that, and they try to paint him as an anti-Semite, all this other thing. I think what they did was because people forget that Kanye West is a musician first, right? And when you're a musician, you're an artist. You're not necessarily a podcaster or a radio personality where you're the best at articulating yourself. You're better at expressing yourself through other means when you're an artist. And what he said is factually true, but they attack more how he says things and how he isn't the most articulate when he tries to explain himself. But he's not necessarily lying when he says they run the banks, they run the media, etc. It's true. I mean, if you look at the people that run Fox, CNN, the banks, the Rothschilds, all this other stuff, it's true. So, I mean, what's your take on that? How, and you were talking about how Kushner was just sending that money back to, the homeland that we won't talk about.
How, Sway?
What's your take on that? Because I look at it like they were more concerned with how he said things versus the things that he said were actually true.
I believe they would have got him even if he said it politely. They would have gotten him.
I love ZHERKA, by the way. He's like one of the best additions to the scene in such a long time. Where did this guy come from? I had heard of him actually a long time ago.
We found him in an alley.
Wait, Nick, when did you first hear him? Was it a long time ago?
It was, yeah. It was like maybe a year and a half ago or something.
Was it at TwitchCon when I was trolling Destiny and I kept saying, yes. I was dog whistling for you, Nick. I was spiritually praying and I've prayed for you. I've prayed once a week for you and your movement. Every Sunday for a year straight.
Question or,
and I'm telling you,
give his
hold
side
on. I was sick. Jesus. I was dog whistling when I'm like, he's beating you, Destiny. But I really thought back then you were like kind of a fed where you'll just nuke everyone's channel. And then I realized, fuck it, Christ is king. I'll be homeless for this fucking movement. Fuck it. But Nick, remember when Tim Pool said corporate press? That was brilliant. Go ahead. Answer his thing.
Good, yeah. So as far as the how, I mean, a lot of people get caught up in that and they say, because I've heard that a lot, they say, well, I like what he said, but they didn't like the mask. They didn't like that he said he loved Hitler. They didn't like those aspects of it. And I totally understand that argument. I understand that perspective. I absolutely disagree with it, though, because I think that there is, I think that people get a little bit caught up in trying to look a certain way or be a certain way rather than just going out and saying it. And I also think that it starts a conversation when he goes out there and says it in a provocative way. I mean, it got us talking about it. It got everybody talking about it. It got everybody watching. I think that.
Do you think that was his intention? Do you think that was his intention, was to like just say it in a way where he knew it would trigger people? Because it's true. He didn't lie. That's the part that kills me. Like Drink Champs and everybody went crazy. But it's like, if you say something true about, them boys, they always label it under anti-Semitism, which is crazy to me. Because, I'll give you an example. If I say the city of Miami was built upon the back of Colombians selling cocaine in the 1980s, no one would say anything. They'd be like, that's a fact. It's true. Pablo Escobar, Griselda Blanco, blah, blah, blah. No one will say a word. But if I say them boys stole the nuclear bomb and were directly involved to a significant level in the assassination of a U.S. president, they will label me as an anti-Semite.
You even see this as
that's crazy.
Sometimes, Myron, people do an ethnic shield. Like, I don't like Israel because Palestine. And they go, okay, we'll kind of talk about it. But if you say, I don't like Israel, but I'm white, this is Nazi territory. This is Hollywood psychological programming where Inglourious Bastards has to flood to your, oh my God, I'm crying. There's Jewish people dying on the television. And you got to start crying for them and stuff. And it's like, first of all, I'm no anti-Semite. Fuck all your religions. Christ is king. As far as I'm concerned, you're all the Antichrist to me. All right? So Jews, stop feeling so special. All right? You guys just look special because you got a bunch of money.
Real quick, ZHERKA, and here's the thing, I criticize everybody, I make jokes on everybody, but this is the one class of people that you can't say anything about. And it's crazy because even if you say things that are factual, they will go ahead and use that magical word, anti-Semite, boom, you're done. And here's the other thing too, I'm Arab, so I can't be anti-Semitic. That doesn't make sense. But go ahead, Nick, I want to get your take on it. No, let Nick go. Come on, man.
Well,
What's your take on
it's because
this?
they run the show. The problem is everybody thinks that it's good faith. When people say, oh, you're racist, you're anti-Semite, people's response is, no, I'm not. And the problem is and I talked about this a little earlier, you can't even engage with that because it almost presupposes that they actually mean it when they really don't. When they call you an anti-Semite, I mean, take a look at the definition of anti-Semitism. CIA World Factbook has a definition. State Department has a definition. It doesn't say you hate Jews. That's not the definition. Their definition of anti-Semitism is if you say that Jews are loyal to Israel. They say that's the definition. So people go, I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't hate Jews. It's like, well, check the definition. That's not what they mean. That's not what the ADL means. That's not what the CIA, State Department, that's not what Israel thinks you are. They have coded that word so that anybody that challenges their power, they can hit them with that word. And the only reason it carries weight is because they run all this shit. Like when Ye said that, take a look at all the groups that canceled him and how many of them were run by Jewish people. Like all those talent agencies like CAA and these other ones, they're all managed by Ari Emanuel. Ari Emanuel is Jewish. He's brothers with Rahm Emanuel, who is the chief of staff in the White House. His brother was in the Obama White House designing Obamacare. Their father fought for Israeli terrorists in Israel. So it's like, that's just one example. And the ones where they're not run by Jewish groups or Jewish people, then they exert a high-pressure campaign like they did against Adidas. And Adidas forfeited, what are they going to lose now? $250 million, $1 billion over this deal? It's insane. But that's because those are the kinds of strings that they can pull. And everybody knows that. And honestly, the most common thing that I heard when he said the stuff that he did was, yep, he's 100% right. He's saying the thing that other people are just afraid of saying. Even liberals, like I talk to liberals and they're like, yeah, like everyone knows Jews run everything. Everyone knows all these things. It's a culture of fear. That's why, and it gets back to the point about the mask, there's something about a fearless person. I told this to him because he would call me and say, and he said this on one of the interviews, Moses had a stutter. God, when he picks a prophet, picks an imperfect messenger. He goes, and maybe I'm a messenger. Maybe I was chosen to say these things. And I said, you have the things that all the prophets in the Bible had, which is one, they're courageous, and two, they're righteous. Those are the two things. They're courageous. They have no fear. They fear only God. And two, they're righteous. They're going to do God's will, whatever happens. I said, and you have both of those things. And that's where some people are thinking about, I got to make the message in a way that's not going to offend or in a way where people are going to understand. And the thing is, Ye doesn't try to do anything. He just does stuff. Like he did the mask and I don't want to tell the magician's secrets. They say never tell the magician's secrets. But that was just something that came to him. And he just likes that look. And there are reasons he liked it, but there's something about it. We remember that image. We remember him. We remember the jacket. We remember the mask. We remember the Bible, the net, the Yoo-hoo. It was iconic. And that's his intelligence as an artist to create these iconic moments. It's the same intelligence when he's got the pillar, or what do you call it? He's got the thing, and he's got the beatbox, and he's got the red suit on Saturday Night Live or at the Grammys when he did Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's the same thing when he did the glasses with the plastic slits in them. That's that genius. Is why he made the Yeezys, and you go to a mall and every store is imitating them. Like whatever you want to call that, he's got that, and he brought that to the debate. And I don't know about you, but like more people are red pilled by that than watching some nerd explain things. Like, no offense.
Yeah, the shock value, the shock value is going to get people asking questions. Then they'll find a guy like you. Then they'll find a guy like Ryan Dawson. Then they'll find these guys that are calling out, because the thing is that you can't sit there and get mad at the truth. But the problem is people don't want to talk about the truth. They don't want to talk about these things that are controversial, that hurt feelings, whatever it may be. And it's crazy. And at least Kanye West was able to get these conversations going because these are things that people are scared to talk about. And they're more concerned with how he said things versus not being as articulate, whatever it may be. Like I said before, he's an artist. He's not a podcast. He's not going to sit here and explain to you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's just telling you there is an 8. That you could go ahead and figure out and do the research and figure out the 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3 countdown, because there are people that go ahead and go number by number, like you, like Ryan Dawson, whatever. But it's hard to find you guys because you guys are fucking canceled all over the place because you guys speak and criticize a certain people. And my thing too is I'm critical of everybody, whether it's that certain state or it's for example, the George Floyd protests. The guy was a fucking drug addict. He was high on fentanyl, right? And he went ahead and put a gun to a woman's stomach and robbed her. You know, he was a fucking criminal. He's a convicted felon, been in and out of jail, etc. But they made him a martyr. And I look at it like, that's crazy. Like, what the fuck is going on here? But that's the clown world that we're in the United States, where people don't even know what the fuck is really going on with the people. And this is why, like I said before, Black Lives Matter, it's really building lavish mansions. Like, I've been critical of them too, because that's a whole bunch of cap. And the black community a lot of times have a lot of pussies, and they will sit there, and if you say racism like Abba and Preach dumbasses did, what do? Yeah, it is racism. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they have such a victim fucking mindset. I mean, let's keep it 1,000. We know for a fact that African Americans are 15% of the fucking population, but they commit 70 to 80% of the violent crimes in the United States, and they are overrepresented in the prison system. Like, oh, that's racism. Well, if you're committing violent crimes, you're probably going to go to jail. Like, it is what it is. Like, violent crimes are the worst crimes, but they don't want to take accountability. Let's talk about the single mother households that are, it's a system that's continuously perpetuated because they don't respect men. There's not a genuine respect for masculinity in the black community. What do they say? I'm strong and independent. Fuck niggas. Get money. I'm strong and independent. And they continue this fucking, indoctrination bullshit. And then they sit there and say, oh, you guys are racist. But why is it that Nigerians come here, so people from Africa come here, and they fucking figure it out? Why? But they're black too. They deal with a lot of the same racism that fucking regular African Americans deal with, because the reality is when the police pull you over, they don't give a fuck if your name is Dikembe or fucking, John Lawrence. It doesn't matter. You're fucking black. You're going to deal with the same bullshit. So why is it that Africans can figure it out? I'll tell you why. Because they have strong fucking family units. It doesn't have to do with the color of your skin. It has to do with how you're fucking brought up. But the black community doesn't want to acknowledge this shit. And then I get hit with, Myron, you're a racist. You're racist towards your own people, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm telling the fucking truth. A lot of you guys are fucking pussies. You don't want to work. You want to be on welfare. You don't fucking go. You don't appreciate the family unit. That's why a lot of y'all are fucking losers. But if I say it, they call me racist. If a white person says it, they call it racist. So you can't criticize them. Same situation with them boys.
Yeah, well, and when it comes to blacks, I mean, I have a really good black friend named Bryson Gray. He's a rapper, and he's one of the finest people I know. He's got great parents who stayed together. He's got a fiance. They don't have sex before marriage. Like, he did lead a degenerate life when he was younger. He found God. He found Jesus, and now he lives a great life. And he's a totally stand-up guy, one of the finest people I know. And the thing is about blacks, like, I look at Chicago, and we just elected this new mayor named Brandon Johnson. And when you break down, so you had a guy from the police union running who wanted to throw people in jail and put more cops on the street and solve crime. You had this black guy named Brandon Johnson from the teachers union who was running. And he's black. All the black people voted for Brandon Johnson. If you break down who voted for Brandon Johnson from the teachers union, it was all the black neighborhoods.
I mean,
and the reason why,
it's easier to just say, look how blacks vote Democrat. What's the percentage?
97%.
At some point, imagine complaining, oh, we hate the system, and voting every fucking year. 97 fucking percent. Someone got to tell the black community this got to be the most retarded fucking game plan they've ever had deep in their collective subconscious.
Well, because these leaders make excuses for them. Like, Brandon Johnson has this ridiculous idea. He goes, well, the problem is that crime, the root causes, you guys hear that? It's the root causes of crime, which is poverty and lack of education. So, in other words, don't hire more cops. We need more money for them programs. We need more money for the schools. We need more money for welfare, whatever. And blacks, of course, one, they're going to vote for him because he's black. Two, they're going to vote for him because he's a Democrat. Three, they're going to vote for him because the community at large is part of the problem. They enable that. Like you said, it's this lifestyle, and they're just as much complicit in it as the people that are out there doing it on the streets. Like, when you saw the George Floyd thing happen, they were out there rioting, they're out there burning stuff down, they're out there looting the liquor store. None of them look at that and cry and say, what a horrible thing to witness. Like, this is just terror. This is disorder. This is chaos. This is destruction. None of that. I mean, I'm sure there were some, but you know that there is a significant portion of them that go out there, and that's just how they live. That's why Africa is the way it is. That's why these cities in America are the way they are. And so we need to hold people to a high standard, and we need to hold everybody to a high standard. And with regard to them boys, those people, to bring it back to Ye and his presentation of it, the thing that people don't understand, because they make the same criticism about everybody. They say that about Ye. They say that about Trump. The same thing. They say that about Alex Jones. and I've had a falling out with him, but they say it about him.
I got a question about
me.
Jones as well. I want you to finish, and then I got a question about Jones. Go ahead, please.
Well, and so with every single one of them, they say, well, you know, I like Ye, but I just don't like the way he said it. Well, I like Trump, but the way he does Twitter and he's too controversial,
faggotry.
and I like Nick. And here's what they don't understand. Here's what the small-minded people don't understand is that the truth doesn't fight for itself. Facts, ideas are just that. You need a person to stake their real fucking life and their real family and their real balls on this in an environment where you get killed or canceled or censored or debanked for saying it.
That's the whole free will test. That we're the middlemen. We stand up for the truth. This is a test. You're put on earth. There's free will. You choose which side you want to be. I don't believe Kanye was chosen by God. I believe everyone in this fucking chat and us were all chosen by God. Kanye's the only one who answered. He lost everything. No. How many? Because my whole game plan is, I don't know how far you go down this fucking rabbit hole, Nick, but I just want to kick the fucking Overton window as hard as I can before I die.
I got a question for Nick.
100 ZHERKAs and 100 Nicks before I die.
This is a question for Nick here. Nick, why does Alex Jones refuse to use the term Zionists? He always calls the elites, you know.
Look who
he always calls them elites.
Look who funds him.
He never refers to them by name. He always refers to them as elites. I know who he's talking about, but people that might watch it might not know who he's talking about. He never, ever calls out that certain state.
It's because look.
I've noticed that about him.
There's only two explanations because he's not dumb and he's been doing this forever and he's heard it all. So there's only two explanations. Either he is a shill or he, for whatever reason, just doesn't believe it. And you know, I don't know. I guess that's really a matter of interpretation.
Oh, give me a break. Doesn't believe it is not an option. You could see it in his eyes. If someone doesn't believe the Jews are in power, they don't start sweating when you bring up the topic.
Well, and I mean, you're right. Because when we were doing that interview, you could tell he was sweating bullets. And it wasn't even because he was concerned about somebody promulgating something that wasn't true. He was afraid of the blowback. In other words, when he went and badmouthed us the next day on Steve Crowder and said, oh, they're gay for Hitler, they're baby Hitler, I hate Hitler, blah, blah, blah. That's called damage control. You don't do damage control when you do an interview with someone you disagree with. You do damage control if somebody hurts your reputation and you're trying to recover that. You're trying to dig your way out and say, reassure everybody, no, I'm cool, I'm square. So that reaction was very telling. If I do a debate with Destiny, and Destiny says, yeah, being a cuck is great, and yeah, being a faggot's great, and that's all terrific. I don't go on a show the next day and say, I'm so sorry, I hate that, like I'm so not about that. Because whatever, he went on my show, he expressed his opinion, we disagree, all's well that ends well. If I went the next day and said that, I would be reassuring somebody that I can't afford to piss off. That's what it sounded like to me, and he keeps coming back with that shit. And but
why? He has his own platform. He's already been canceled. Why? Like that's what confuses me.
I think he's worried about prison.
Like for example, as much as criticism as people give like Ryan Dawson, one thing I respect the fuck out of him is he will tell you and name you the people by fucking name, dude. He literally names them and he's able to connect them and everything else like that. And the other thing I love about Ryan is that he shows declassified documents so that you know it's not bullshit. He's showing like declassified CIA documents, FBI 302s, which is FBI reports. Like, but Jones won't do it. And he's already been canceled. He has his own platform. Why is he scared?
Well, he has a massive production. You know, it's like he's got multiple sets. He's got a huge staff. He makes $50 million a year. Now, you always have to follow the money. I mean, I'm banned from every payment processor. I'm banned from every bank. Like, it's illegal basically for me to make money. I get paid in Bitcoin, okay? With Alex Jones, he makes $50 million a year. So how does he make that money? Well, people buy his products. Okay, well, who makes the products? Who does all that? And I haven't checked it out myself because I'm not really interested in that. But some say that all the people that own these companies that do the product lines, the pills and everything, that a significant number of them are Jewish Zionists. And the radio station that he does in Texas is also run by a Jewish Zionist. He's on Sirius XM, same story. So,
Nick, you know what I find confusing is all the secular Jews on earth. There's so many, but it's like they have this collective thought with their community of pushing the Babylonian Talmud and all their fucking protocols. It's like even their atheists are on their team. When have you ever seen that with any community?
Do you think Rogan would ever have someone on that is willing to say the truth about everything? It doesn't have to just be with the Zionists and that certain state. I'm talking about with the Black Lives Matter movement, which we know they're fucking scammers and they're a domestic terrorist organization. I've been saying this for years. If you look at the definition of domestic terrorism, by FBI definition, the Black Lives Matter absolutely matches it to a T. They're conducting violence in furtherance of a political agenda that adheres to the racism tenement, whatever the fuck it is, right?
If we're gonna be honest, Ryan Dawson would be one of the best guests for Rogan. Rogan has been like talking about 9/11 for so long, trying to figure it out. He talks about Tower 7, a lot of the loose change kind of size. Ryan Dawson would be a perfect guest. Rogan would be able to ask him a lot of questions.
I don't think he'll ever do it.
He was actually very supportive of Ye, and he was calling out the fact he drew the parallel. You can't talk about the Italian mafia. You can talk about the Italian mafia, but you can't talk about the Jewish mafia. It doesn't seem like Rogan isn't just as aware.
Oh my God.
You think
Everyone knows Joe Rogan is
knows
the softest motherfucker in Hollywood. You think he'd ever platform any truth? This motherfucker believes in 9/11, 2 buildings, and a fucking moon landing. You guys think Joe Rogan
at the level that he's at to have that much influence and be questioning 9/11 for like 8 years straight is rare.
The most compromised dude is Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but I will say that you know, though I see where you're coming from, ZHERKA, he is. With the platform that he has, he's one of the few people.
Your dating stuff hurts his feelings. Red Pill hurts Joe Rogan's feelings. Joe, I know you see this. I haven't seen a platform someone that's Red Pill. I haven't seen him Red Pill. Red Pill guy. I dated Joe Rogan's best
Eddie Bravo
friend.
Talk about Red Pill like feminism bullshit and all that.
He goes into Jews, too. But I dated Joe Rogan's best friend's ex-girlfriend as a comedian. I'm not going to say. She told me everything. You know, Joe Rogan watches us right now. He sees it weeks later. Everyone is so bored of regular media that anytime JQ comes up, every single YouTuber tunes in secretly to watch it. You know how many people secretly know Nick that are on YouTube? Joe, I know you're watching this. He's afraid to step into Red Pill fucking statistic category. This is coward shit. Have Nick Fuentes on one time, Joe.
So here's the thing. Well, and that's what I wanted to ask Nick. Do you think he'll ever platform someone that will go? Because here's the thing that I've noticed when it comes to, you know, the JFK situation, which we talked about last time, 9/11, whatever. They go into controlled demolition. They go into inside job. They go into CIA. They go into the deep state, whatever. But as soon as that state is mentioned, immediately, we're not going to go further. That's it, right? And hold on, ZHERKA, hold on. No! So my thing is this. Will Rogan bring someone on that will finally, like someone like a Ryan Dawson, that is willing to not talk about the bullshit of controlled demolition, but who was responsible for the demolition? Do you think it'll ever happen, Nick?
No, I don't think so.
And I don't think so?
And here's the thing. I mean, I like Joe and everything, but he's been doing a show for, what, a decade? And he's never had anybody on like that. And that's not an accident. Like, they're looking for guests. I'm sure they get suggestions all the time. And people
he's never had anyone that's talked about them boys? Never?
Never.
No,
not one time?
Never. That's and most of the guests are Jewish. There was a good report that was done by this guy named...
the closest to JQ was Bernie. Bernie, talking about Palestine, is the closest he ever got to JQ.
Really?
He endorsed Bernie.
Because I haven't seen all his episodes, so I don't know if he's ever...
No, I'm telling you, right now, it's only us 4 on the internet doing this. And
no fucking way, bro.
Who do you think Alex Jones is doing this? No one else.
No, you don't.
There's no.
So you're telling me us 4 and Ryan Dawson.
Yeah.
That's why it's really annoying when I see the poster of like, look at the people saving the world, and they put Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, like these people are not even talking about what's really going on. Jordan Peterson is extremely afraid. We watched a pretty funny video where he's like, okay, I'll address the Jewish question. Well, the IQ is extremely high, but to think that it's like some sort of control.
This is the funniest thing is he was answering all these questions his first time doing a live. And then the question popped up.
What was the question? What was the question exactly?
The question in chat was, it said, talk about the Jewish question. And then Jordan Peterson like, first time he got caught, his first live, he got caught. He's like, talk about the Jewish question? Well, that's a hell of a question. And that same fucking dude commented with like 1,000 thumbs up before they took it down. He said, why is it a hell of a question? Because he talked about every other group. Why is that one a hell of a question?
Yo, there's no. So wait,
Or you
hold on.
Tucker Carlson, when Kanye, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I bring the views. When Kanye said to Tucker Carlson, stop. Stop. You guys aren't that entertaining. When Kanye said to Tucker Carlson, do you remember this? He said, the Jared Kushner thing. Did you see Tucker's face? Did you see, before they start editing, the fear of God in his face? He was, and I used to love Tucker, and then he's like, oh.
Well, hold on. Now that he left Fox, you think he'll ever talk about it?
Not that one. I don't think so, because he wears a nice bracelet.
Yo, so hold on. You guys literally have
a Jewish bracelet. You know that, right? He literally wears the scarlet bracelet.
Oh, okay.
That's all Hollywood.
Let me ask
everyone over $25 million
There's no fucking way that us four and Ryan Dawson are the only ones that talk about this shit.
Yeah.
Y'all are capping.
Well, Eddie Bravo is on Joe Rogan all the time. Owen Benjamin also is, shout out to him. Sam Hyde, I think that he talks about it sometimes.
No, don't group us in with fucking retard Sam Hyde. What the fuck?
Okay.
I don't know who Sam Hyde is, but but like, I mean that, like, have
Owen
a
Benjamin's
internet
been doing
presence.
it-
You're saying us five, essentially?
Yeah, and Owen's been doing it since 2016. He's like the first one to.
And then you said Eddie Bravo talks about it?
No, barely. Like these guys gave up, bro. They all gave up.
There's a couple others like E. Michael Jones and
everybody on Cozy.
Yeah, and everybody on my site. But they're few and far between, because you literally, if you talk about that, that's all you can talk about, because then they go after your bank, they go after your job, they go after your social media. So who would want to sign up for that other than a martyr?
Wow.
And who would want a martyr for that? I mean, or people that literally don't know better, and they'll go out there and they'll start to talk about it, then they start to get shit, and then they totally. And
here's the crazy part, right? Like, people got to understand that it's not the entire community. We're talking about a fraction of a 1% that's involved in this fuckery.
And
that's not all of them. It's like, I want to make that very clear for y'all that are watching. It's not all of them. It's a very small level. Just like not all black people are criminals. Well, a small percentage of them are.
One thing that none of us ever mention is that 1% you're talking about actually fucks over the average working Jew. It's literally fucking them over. It's not like they're on the same team. It's just that the average working Jew, for some reason, never wants to admit how much wealth is at the top. They always sit there and they go, it's a conspiracy. It's kind of like when you talk to Nick about the Jesuit order. He goes, oh, it's just a conspiracy, but he knows what I'm talking about. Now I'm telling you, the average Jew, it's not like they're guilty, but they always defend their side. They never come to the truth.
Now, I've met some base ones, bro, that like are critical, that aren't necessarily the Z boys.
Really? What platform do they speak on?
Oh, they don't speak on platforms.
There you go.
It's behind closed doors, of course, bro. It's always behind closed doors.
But the most base people are behind closed doors and in closets.
Yeah. They're not gonna say it out in public, but they're gonna say like, what the fuck are we doing over there and shit. Like, they'll say
Jews do defend each other though. Even the so-called ones that are not a part of it. Like after the Ye thing happened, I was getting recognized all the time in LA. In LA, it's like 20% white, but most of the whites there are actually Jewish. It's a very weird phenomenon. And I was getting coffee somewhere. And like I was getting accosted on the street, people would go up to me and say, "Are you Nick Fuentes?" And they'd say, "Well, I don't agree with what you said," and blah blah blah. And invariably they were always Jewish. And so now, granted, in LA, a lot of them are actually involved in entertainment, but you would be surprised that they're all team players. They're extremely race loyal, and even if they're not in on it, they still believe the H narrative. They still believe all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, they're not Christian, and they carry with them a lot of the same attitudes because they go to Shabbat, they go to a Jewish school. Their parents, grandparents came here from Europe, from these rabbinical communities. So they have had these attitudes. They've been inculcated with the anti-European Christian thing forever.
Nick, do you believe it's like ancestral DNA that they don't have the DNA to accept Christ? Like they just will not do? No, because Nick does think that some groups of people are like, would rather swipe credit cards and get rich than go to fucking church and lose and weaken their bottom line. Like if you got to lose 30-40% of your business going to Christ, that's worth it. What the fuck?
Well, there literally is. I mean, it says in the gospel that the blood of Jesus is on their hands and the hands of all their descendants, all their children. So I do think there is something spiritual to that. They're an exceptional group. Because they do have this ancestry, they do have this connection to the Old Testament. Some say, some would dispute that, and so I think they are playing a role. I don't know.
But Nick, they're going to spin you. As soon as you say it's DNA, they're gonna spin you like Nick's trying to hang them, and they're gonna lie.
I don't care. I mean, it's just the way it is. They by definition reject Jesus. They're descended from the people. Jesus came from them, and they rejected him. And you know that comes with a weight to it. And here's the thing about a guy like Ryan Dawson, who I like, but Ryan Dawson is not a Christian. And he looks at them as just like, he says, well, my problem is with the people running Israel. My problem is not with Jewish people or that they don't believe in Jesus. He goes, you know, Jesus was a Jew and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if I were secular, I don't know that I'd feel as strongly about it, because then this would just be a high IQ minority group that is arbitrarily involved in some of these things. You know, then they're just a foreign actor. There's some foreign state. And what I'm saying is, no, they're not just some arbitrary high IQ religious or ethnic minority. They're playing a very important role in the history of mankind, just like Christians are. They are working a lot, and
Nick,
there's an opposite way alongside Christians.
If you adopt Ryan Dawson's retard position, you're pretty much saying that expelling them from authority and power would just mean another group does the same thing at a lower IQ level. There's nothing really there. But when it's a spiritual war, now that's an impactful message. Another thing,
I got a question.
Dawson can't even get people surrounded around a cross to fucking fight for him. They're just a bunch of fucking homosexual atheists chilling with Dawson at a park. What kind of movement has no army?
All right, I got a question. I like Dawson. I know you hate him, but I like Dawson. My question is this.
I don't hate him.
Oh, fuck, you made me lose my
Some
question.
homosexuals
Fuck.
I like.
God damn it. It was, damn it, I had it.
The coke wiper is tough to handle, Nick. Imagine if he was in your apartment for a week. Like, would you be able to handle dark MAGA for a week straight? Just.
You know, it's funny though. I've only ever watched two YouTubers my whole life consistently: the Hodge twins and Nick Fuentes. So if you put those channels together, you get me. It's actually hilarious. But Nick, I'm telling you, I never wanted.
No, I'm trying to remember my question.
I never wanted to meet Nick, because in my head I always saw him calling me a faggot. So when I saw him laugh at my shit and actually be like same humor and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, this guy knows who the hash slinging slasher is. He grew up with the same shit. We have the same. It's so weird that we actually get along. And Nick, I'm telling you, if you don't convert them, you failed.
We're going to convert him. SNEAKO's coming along for sure. Myron, I don't know him well enough yet.
Oh, and Nick, shout out to this big priest in Miami here. He contacted me on Twitter. He had a bunch of followers. It was from your guys, and they invited me for Sunday.
Sweet. Oh, very
I forget the name. I'll find the name, but it's your people. And it's like they had like 40,000 followers on Twitter. And they do like every Sunday mass, and they're like, ZHERKA, we want you here. And I'm like, I'm not gonna come because I'm like the dirty Christian. So, but I went. It was great.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. No, it is weird. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's like real recognize real. It's like when me and STICKO met, or me and Ye, or whatever. It's like we just recognize that we're not.
Nick, I'm flying to Chicago this Sunday. You live in Chicago?
Yeah.
I'm going to the Pearl thing, and Nick, can you be there when I get baptized?
Yeah, totally.
Would you do that?
Get baptized here?
Because I got to read into this. I have no idea what's going to happen. Is a rabbi going to come bite my dick off? What's going to happen?
You just get dunked in water. You're not baptized for real?
No.
I'm baptized.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, yeah.
Are you doing what I gotta do? How do I prepare to get baptized?
You just get dunked in water.
I never looked into this one.
You got to talk to the parish and arrange it. But, I mean, you should get confirmed. Have you been confirmed? If you haven't even been baptized, I assume not.
Well, I went to church for the first time last week.
Okay. Well, you got to go to RCIA, and you should apply soon, because they do these classes, and they basically teach you how to be a Catholic. And then Easter next year, you'll get baptized and confirmed into the church.
Okay.
It'll be a nice ceremony. But you should do it. You should talk to those Catholics down in Miami. I'll be there for you when you get confirmed. Absolutely.
I was thinking, when I'm at Pearl's, hopefully I'll just ask her if Nick can come too, if we did a show, all three of us.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
And we should write down topics, because like, man, I'm getting a lot of feedback, and they're like, they love the topics. It should always be Jay's. That's the best one.
Well, I don't know. I think Pearl doesn't really love.
Myron, you had a Jewish question.
The relationship stuff.
You had a Jewish question. About Israel.
No, fuck, man. I really trying to remember, but ZHERKA fucking.
No, it's not me. You said the N.
is you,
He said
bro.
the hard R
Every
40 times today.
Every time you make a point, ZHERKA will like disagree with the framing of your question or just your sentence. He's already
No.
yelling.
It was I had it because what were you guys talking about prior? It was before Dawson. It was you were talking about
Alex Jones.
huh?
Alex Jones.
What?
Alex Jones.
No. After that, way after that. It was the last exchange that you guys had. You said it wasn't. You said that they're implicit altogether.
Oh,
that
they all
they're
work
race
together,
loyal
even
and all
the
this
atheists.
Race loyal.
The atheist Democrat Jews.
Atheist Democrats. After that.
I said if I were an atheist, that I would view them as an arbitrary.
We're talking about the
ethnic
spiritual war.
minority.
The spiritual war. Damn it, man. That was a good question too. Fuck. God damn it, ZHERKA.
It's tough, bro. Dark
Cocaine
MAGA.
Roiper. Dark MAGA.
Hey, Nick. Hey, shout out my Dark Mog in the chat. Nick, you know what I wonder is like Dawson and all these guys who are atheists, they're really saying, and they'll never explore this question. They'll just stay at the shallow waters of this. If you're an atheist, that means the love you have for your mother is just chemicals in your fucking brain. No philosopher in history ever agreed with this up until what, like 1800 or some shit. Dude, the position of an atheist is so fucking stupid. And when you bring it to Dawson and some of these intellectuals, they just say, yeah, it's dopamine. Like, fuck it. Like, that's who's on our team. Should we ever have atheists on our team?
Well, it's a good resource, but they don't bring with it the fullness of the whole worldview and the big picture. And the problem is they don't believe
SNEAKO
in
has
the
not
soul.
contributed, sorry.
They only believe in the material, and that's a big problem because, of course, we do live in a world with a God. So if you're not on God's side, like you're going to run into some big problems. It's not enough to just bring information or ideology or philosophy. It's a spiritual crisis. There's spiritual forces acting in the world, and if you're not, if you're just not tapped into that, what the fuck are we even doing? You know?
It's like atheists talk about right and wrong and politics all day. Think about what you're really saying, right and wrong. Right and wrong, this is the spiritual side. What the fuck is right and wrong from an atheist? That's like good and evil is a point of view, Anakin. SNEAKO, you haven't really contributed. Stop taking the headphones. Stop. Just sit back and just get rich. Just get rich, bro. Just get rich.
Okay, bro.
This is value right here.
Yeah.
Now,
Do another bump. You're running out of energy.
I'm telling you, Nick, his questions are, what do you think of transgender? It's just shallow, bro.
Did I ask that?
You just asked Nick the most boring question.
Bro, you glazed his ass for 10 minutes straight. When we were actually having the panel, you went to take a shower and do a line, and now you're going to go say, I'm the entertainment. Go back to the shower, man.
Nick, how come you never talk about Swiss shadow banking? Because everyone says Switzerland's neutral, but they funded every dictator. That's why they were neutral. They're funding both sides. Connected to the Zio thing. That's value, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Well,
talk about Switzerland.
That's
Shadow
value.
banking.
Yeah, no. When they clip it up and they say they're talking about Swiss shadow banking, no channel's ever done that. Not Joe Rogan, no one. Yeah, what's transgender? You don't have content. I do. Nick, talk about Switzerland's connection to Israel.
Okay.
Well, shadow banking in general, that's just the way that they launder money from the government to organize crime. There's a great book about this. It's called Super Mob, and it talks about the connection between how all the intel agencies are like this with all the organized crime in the world. So basically, the world is made up of spies and mafias, and shadow banking is where
should I
they
Frank Castle
intersect.
ZHERKA, yes
Because
or
all
no?
these intel agencies, they'll have a budget. It's like a dark budget, and they'll put it in shadow banking, and the money gets lost, and that money winds up being used for drug cartels, or they put into organized crime in a foreign country. There's a lot of that going on in the former Soviet Union. A lot of it is done to achieve, like, for example, there was a situation in Florida where
It's like
Matt
50%
Gaetz
yes.
was being set up. I don't know if you remember this.
Nick,
Hold
sorry.
on, let him cook. Let him cook. I want
Nick,
value, bitch.
Nick, keep
wait,
going.
he's cooking. He's giving value.
He's
Stop
pretending
interrupting.
He's pretending he can kick me out when I KO him.
Stop interrupting. I want to hear the value for the clip, bitch.
So, wow, yeah, it's real rambunctious over there with the cocaine groiper, the dark MAGA. Anyway, so Matt Gaetz, he was put up by this Jew named Joel Greenberg down there in Florida. Joel Greenberg's like a big political operative. Joel Greenberg allegedly was arranging all of Matt Gaetz' prostitutes. Like Matt Gaetz would want to fuck, and so he would call his political fixer, this Jewish guy named Joel Greenberg, and he would bring in these 17-year-olds, and they pay him on Cash App. And anyway, Joel Greenberg was trying to blackmail Matt Gaetz' father to give him money, Joel Greenberg, so that he could finance this operation in Iran to help Israel. It was a huge scandal a couple of years ago where they said, oh, Matt Gaetz is going to get charged by the DOJ because he's wrapped up in this shit with Joel Greenberg. And Matt Gaetz comes out and says, I was being blackmailed. The Jewish establishment in Florida, which is connected to Israel. Like, for example, in Surfside, in Florida, do you know Surfside? It's north of South Beach. It's all Jews there.
I remember what I was going to say now.
Okay.
Fuck. Sorry. And I'm just going to put it out there and then I'll let you finish.
Ask the teacher.
Why are you
My
putting your
bad.
hand like that?
And I know both of y'all are going to be able to weigh in on this. IQ with races.
Oh.
But finish your part about Florida. I just want to get out there, so I had it in my head. Sorry about that. Continue.
So Surfside, Florida, there was a condominium that collapsed a few years ago, maybe you remember, and it was in Surfside, which is a Jewish place. And when that condominium collapsed, they literally sent in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, came in on helicopters to conduct a rescue operation. Not making this up. And it's like, well, what's Israel doing in South Beach? What's Israel doing in Surfside? Doesn't make any sense. But of course, there's a lot of Jews in South Florida. It's one of the 3 big capitals in America for Jews. Anyway,
A lot of them
so
are
Matt
Miami,
Gaetz, yeah, so he comes out and says, well, and by the way, you know what else is in South Florida? You know what else is in Miami-Dade? Is Parkland, Florida, where you had the Parkland school shooting years ago, and there are a lot of Jews involved in that.
Shout out to
Just
Kyle
something
Kashuv.
interesting. Yeah, exactly. And anyway, so Matt Gaetz came out and said, look, I'm being blackballed by this Jewish spy in Florida who is trying to get my dad to give him $20 million to give to some Israeli agents to go conduct an operation in Iran. And I don't know what the status is on that. Matt Gaetz hasn't been indicted, but Joel Greenberg did. And that's just the kind of thing that goes on all the time. That's a thing that got exposed. But if that's going on with a high-ranking congressman like Matt Gaetz, embroiled with the DOJ, you can only imagine the kind of stuff that's been going on for 80 years and even beyond that. So
Okay, let's answer this this last question from Myron.
Yeah.
Not the
So
last one.
races and IQ. Because I've heard ZHERKA talk about it, etc. Is it true that certain races are predisposed to have higher IQs or lower IQs, etc.?
Yeah. The average. So this is just factual. If you look at the average IQs of the races, it breaks down like blacks, Hispanics, whites, Asians. So, they've been doing IQ tests forever. They've been doing SAT tests. They've been doing, there's a test that they do for the military. It's actually like a vocabulary test, and it's got some correlation with IQ.
The ASVAB?
No, it's maybe. Do you know what I'm talking about? They give you a word, and then you have to select what the synonym for the word is.
Okay.
They give you 15 words. I forget what it's called. It's called the General Something Survey. Anyway, and they do that every so many years.
Someone's going to put it in the chat.
Any cognitive test like that they do, on average, they see that it breaks down in that way. They see that blacks have an IQ in America on average of about 85. Hispanics are about the same. Whites are about 100. Asians are a little bit over 100. And it varies from country to country also. So they say the average IQ in China is 105. It is as low as 65, they say, though, in West Africa. And really what this comes down to is that there's diversity within the human species. Race is a subcategory of species. You have a taxonomy, so you have like mammal, then you have like dog, then you have like whatever. We have human being, then you have races, then you have sub-races, then you have local groups. Those are the 3 taxonomy that are lower than Homo sapien. So you have your broad races, of which I think there are 8. You have Caucasians, you have Africans, you have Asians, you have American Indian, you have the Australian Aborigines, you have, I forget what the other ones are, but there's like 7 or 8, and we know generally what the groups are. Then there's sub-races within them. So like, for example, for white people, there's 3 sub-races. There's Mediterraneans, Nordics, Alpinids, and then within that, you have local groups. And all this says is that there's genetic diversity, that from one local group to another local group, they are genetically different. Why? Because they have been interbreeding for a long period of time. And even in a short period of time, if there's interbreeding in a local spot, you're going to get genetic diversity compared to somebody from somewhere else. And so basically over the course of 10,000 years on different continents, these various races have developed biological diversity. That's why they have different skin color. That's why they have different eye shapes, different eye colors, different hair texture. And that is also why they have different cognitive differences, because the human genome, about 50% of the human genome is in the brain. 50%, and I'm not a scientist, but most of a person's genes have to do with their brain. So a lot of people say, well, black people have brown skin, Asian people have yellow skin, white people have white skin, and those are genetic differences. That's a result of genetics. But they say for some reason the differences stop there. That like we all have different genetic physical attributes, but we don't have different genetic mental attributes, cognitive attributes. That just doesn't make sense. And it's not just about IQ, it's about behavior, it's about all these things. But the point is, it's called human biodiversity, HBD, and that's in contrast to people that say that we're all the same. There are no differences. The only difference is we're different color, and they refuse to even acknowledge that that's a genetic difference, even though it obviously is. Like, black people are not going to have white kids unless it's an albino person with some rare genetic mutation. That's because it's genetic. It's not, they didn't develop black skin because of the sun or how they were raised. It's a genetic difference, just like behavior, intelligence. And so it's interesting, though, with blacks, I'll give you another one. One of the big arguments against the abolition of slavery, and this was told to me by a PhD at an Ivy League university who studies demographics. This is his job. I'm not going to say his name because he would get canceled for this. But he told me that one of the big arguments against the abolition of slavery in the 19th century is that the Africans that we brought here, if they were freed, would not be able to feed themselves. They wouldn't be able to live in the society that we had, because this is a settler European civilization.
Yeah.
In Africa at that time, I mean, they didn't have the agricultural revolution. They didn't have written language. How are they going to get along in our society? So they said, we can't free them because they're literally not ready yet. They're going to start to die. That is actually exactly what happened. A lot of people don't talk about this, but after the Civil War ended and the slaves were freed, there was a eugenic effect that year over year, about 10% of the black population was dying because they weren't able to get along in the free South. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but that's why blacks have a higher average IQ in America than they do in Africa, because there was this, it had a eugenic effect that it was, the strong survive, so to speak. And all that is to say that, I don't think that people are inferior. I'm Hispanic. Hispanics have a lower IQ than whites. I'm Southern Italian. My ancestors are from Calabria, Naples, and Bari. Southern Italians have 5 IQ average lower than Northern Italians. There's even diversity within Italians. I don't say that like, oh, you're inferior, you're subhuman, whatever. It's just like, there are differences. And Asians are at the top. I'm not Asian. So, I mean, am I an Asian supremacist for saying that Asians score the highest on these IQ tests? There's probably 200,000 Chinese with an IQ over 100.
I've always thought you had the highest IQ on the internet until you told me you're attracted to Asian women.
So
why you don't?
I don't like them. But Nick, yeah, go ahead.
So basically, it's a thing that it's an absolute fact that there is. I mean, in general, obviously not all, but in general, if we're gonna have to stack it up in general versus IQ, it would be blacks, Hispanics, similar, whites, then Asians, irrefutable.
Yes.
Like a total.
But you can't say that, huh?
Yeah, you can't talk about it in depth. You can joke about it, but Nick, a really strong.
I didn't know that about the abolitionist thing. I learned something new every day, but that makes sense because, yeah, like they're not used to the agricultural world in the West versus in Africa. You know what I mean? So obviously they're going to have a tough time acclimating, their language, spoken word, etc. Yeah, that makes sense.
You passed me that Sprite. Nick, I don't want to get your head blown off. How much can you talk about how third world countries don't have school shooters, but the U.S. does? And how much of it is a psyop? Because, man, I forget which one I'm thinking of. Was it Buffalo? I've seen some footage, and I've been looking at these.
He streamed it on Twitch before, and he had a whole manifesto.
Yes, that one. You watched the video?
I studied that case.
He double-tapped like an MK Ultra, and he had an FBI agent in his Discord.
And the last couple of shootings have all had feds in the Discord.
And it's always government-related. Ted Bundy and all serial killers. It's always the psychic, satanic horror programming where they split your mind into a dissociative state through trauma. And it's in my documentary. They've been doing it since Egyptian times, where if you cut a baby's head off in front of a child, they actually can't handle the trauma. So they go into a dissociative state, shattered mind, and they actually kind of like doze off as they're in a wakeful state. They're traumatized. And that's when you scream at the child. When he's traumatized, you go, get up. And so apparently even 10 years later, you can psychically program them with a phone call and say, get up. And they go back into that mode where you can tell them to be the best mercenary ever, where it immediately reminds them of the trauma, where they like watched some horrific satanic shit. Do you think all school shootings in the US are, shut the fuck up, that was the best fucking content. You have no content, bro. Fuck this.
Get the fuck out of here, ZHERKA. Look, it's not even just the school shootings, but it was probably I'm adding.
I want to hear his take on school shootings. I want to hear this.
Yeah, I'm adding on to the question. How many people do you think at J6 at the same time too? They always find that whenever there's a conspiracy theorist that turns out to be true, they get a couple of crazy people that they're able to program before it happens. And that's why you get them. They take all the news. They take the big highlight before the story gets out. Like it happened with Pizzagate. It happened with J6. It happened with the last 3 school shootings.
Well, as far as the CIA mind control, it's very real. I mean, they did a program. It's called MK Ultra, like ZHERKA mentioned. And like, I'll give you 2 really good examples, like Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski was a genius mathematician. I think it was a University of Michigan. Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber.
Harvard as well. He wrote the manifesto. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was brilliant, but he was a terrorist, and he was sending bombs to. They called them the Unabomber because it was universities and airlines. He was sending bombs. They didn't catch him. The only reason they caught him is his brother recognized his writing style because he had I think it was Time Magazine published his manifesto or Playboy or something. Anyway,
he had a very certain. God damn it, man! There was a phrase that he used to use. Like a common phrase, but he would word it a different way, which was a very distinct. I forget what the phrase was. Someone in the chat's going to be able to put it here, but yeah, that's how his brother knew it was him.
Well, and he, wouldn't you know, was tested on in the MK Ultra program. When he was at college, they subjected him to one of these tests. This is on like his Wikipedia. It's not even a conspiracy theory. And so the 1990s and 80s. Full of
can't have your cake and eat it too. There you go. Can't have your cake and eat it too. He wrote it in a different way.
Well, and so he did his bombings throughout the 80s, I think some in the 70s. And it's interesting, you have all these stories in the 70s, 80s, and 90s about political assassinations, bombings, serial killers. And MK Ultra allegedly ended in 1972. So all the people they were experimenting on became adults and went out into the world in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We don't hear about serial killers anymore. We don't hear about this stuff anymore. So it coincides. The other one is this.
I can tell you this real quick, Nick, and I don't mean to interrupt. I'm just going to say this just to add more credence to what you're saying. I have a whole other channel where I talk about true crime. The most prolific serial killers all operated in the 60s all the way up until the 90s. It wasn't until DNA testing became a thing. You want to talk about Ted Bundy, the Zodiac killer who they still haven't caught, the Night Stalker, John Wayne Gacy. All these guys operated between the 60s up until the 90s. BTK, the Golden State Killer, etc. Sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And the other example I was going to give is Sirhan Sirhan. He was the Palestinian who killed, allegedly, Robert Kennedy in 1968.
Yep.
And it's totally bizarre because, Lee Harvey Oswald kills Kennedy, and then Oswald is killed the next week by Jack Ruby during the prison transfer. Sirhan Sirhan kills RFK, and he goes and he's interrogated by the police, and he says he has no recollection at all. He says that he blanked out. Then he goes to a psychologist, and they do another interview, and they find out that I think they did a lie detector test or they did some technique, and it turns out he actually didn't remember. Like, he didn't just make that up. That wasn't an alibi, so that he doesn't remember. And so there's a theory that
the mainstream media says that he was drunk. LOL.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
no
what he
way.
claims is that he was drunk. I think when I read his Wikipedia, he said that he was drunk that night. But sorry, continue on. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. Well, it's actually amnesia, and so I believe the theory that they are grooming these people with mind control, probably turning them into killers or whatever. As far as January 6th, they're just feds. I mean, they have federal informants in all these groups: 3%ers, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers. Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. Half of the people that were behind that were literally informants. And they were leaders, too. The guy that put the group together was an informant. He invited everybody to the hotel in Wisconsin, bought all their pizzas. The guy that headed up transportation, the guy that headed up security. I think it was either Oath Keeper or 3% or breakaway group in Michigan. They plotted to kidnap the governor. Half of them were federal informants, and they actually threw away some of the charges against the defendants because they said that the way they got the evidence was wrong. Like, these guys were entrapped because they were all feds around them. So... and every serial killer, every school shooter, you don't have to look very far. There's an FBI agent behind them. Like the Buffalo shooter, he talked to 6 people on his Discord. I think he streamed it or he put out a message 30 minutes before the killing. 6. One of them was a retired FBI agent. So, I mean, what are the odds? 1 of 6 that knows about this plot months in advance and 30 minutes before it starts, he happens to be retired FBI. What a coincidence. So, yeah,
Look,
it's very real.
I'm SNEAKO's girls. The big bush. Nick, you know what I was going to say, though?
Yo, how did that make you laugh, Byron? That was the... Okay,
This
go
was
ahead.
random.
That's my nigga. Yo, Nick.
It's so random.
I read 100 books last year because my brother is highest paid therapist in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver, Canada. He's a therapist, my twin brother. And that's why I'm not just like a meathead. I debate with him. He's a very intelligent guy, opposite of me. Doesn't agree with anything, but whatever. And he's the one who said to me, as a joke, he said, you know, I was talking about if I died, my legacy. He's like, your legacy would be making thousands and thousands of dollars a day picking up women. And I had an anxiety attack. And the anxiety attack lasted probably 10 days straight. Identity crisis. I'm like, I'm going to be remembered for picking up whores? I hate whores. And so the first time in my life, I had like mania. And I felt the Spirit of God pour through me. And I went to 8-month vacations, resorts, just reading. I finished 100 books and developed this whole documentary that wasn't going to pay me. It dropped my viewer count from 2,000 to 200 viewers. Nobody gave a fuck. Now they love it. Now they get it. And everyone told me to quit. When I read these 100 books, I found out the public believes mind control is very hard to do. And the conspiracy guys believe it was mastered in World War II. But it was mastered in ancient Egypt thousands of years ago, and it's just trauma control. It's just trauma-based mind control. Very simple to do if you're an evil person. You think about how much with technology, how good mind control has gotten in 2023, you will actually be like, whoa, every single shooter, this is all comedy by the way, every single shooter is government. Almost all, 90%. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, and the other thing that they have now is the designer drugs, because they have these ancient trauma-based techniques, and then they also have LSD and other drugs that'll induce psychosis or schizophrenia, and that's a big part of it as well. So, yeah, I 100% agree. You're right.
Oh, my God. Nick,
I got some.
What is that?
this topic gets people killed. The school shooting one, no one's allowed to talk about, right?
Niggas is giving me.
What's
the
going on? Some
files.
communique?
Nah, just some incriminating photos of Apple and Peach.
Oh, no.
Look at this. They want to call us racist.
Oh, my God. KKK. Look at this.
I could fucking end them right now with this.
Oh, wow. You better.
So
got
Nick,
some
it's
information. Sorry,
3:20
Nick.
a.m. I'm gonna let you go now, and I know Zerka's about to be like, no, but it's content, bro. Why would you let him go? This is better than anything you're gonna do. But I am.
I want to say this real quick. Nick, every time I talk to you, I learn something and I feel smarter. Shout out to you, my friend.
Nick,
Hey, shout
I
out to you,
genuinely
man.
enjoy
I
our
like all you
conversations.
why I rush the questions is when we get the panel going again with us, for some reason, it's not always going to be great. Today, we're all on a roll. That's why I want all the questions out, right? But
Apparently, we're all
also,
white supremacists and racist, though.
I have a feeling that if we do enough of these panels, we're all going to die.
Probably. We
No,
talked about a
no.
bunch of
Why
crazy
would
shit.
you? Don't put that out there. That's not gonna happen. Absolutely not. Okay. Sometimes you let him coke too much. Nick, it was great to have you on.
It always is, man. Learn something new.
Thanks. Great talking to you guys.
Thanks for the combo, man.
Now I can officially say that Preach probably has a low IQ because he's black. Thank you.
What
There
the
you go,
fuck?
yeah. All right,
What?
thanks.
Don't clip that. Don't clip that, Abba. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, end on that note.